So you've decided to listen to the Reality Czars podcast. How brave of you. Nate and Paranoid American may think that they're merely discussing cryptozoology, interdimensional realities, and crude humor. But know this, listening to this podcast puts you on a certain list, the Clinton body count, if you will. The truths they reveal are not for the faint of heart, nor the blissfully ignorant. Listen if you dare, but remember, some doors, once opened, cannot be closed. And now, your hosts, those audacious explorers of forbidden knowledge, the Reality Czars, Nate and Paranoid American.
And we're live. Welcome, everybody. This is the Reality Czars podcast, and we are hosts tonight, Nate and Thomas, the Paranoid motherfucking American.
Book. I like it's always drop the F-bomb in the first 10 seconds. Fuck you, YouTube.
For real, man. So we are live on YouTube right now, but fuck YouTube. And we can go as hard as we absolutely want. We haven't burned this channel yet, and we've done some wild stuff on here. So my man Sean Hibbeler is on. Thank you so much for joining us, brother. We appreciate it. And dude, we're gonna have some fun tonight.
Let's do it, man. Thanks for having me back, guys. Appreciate it.
Dude, absolutely. I got so excited when I saw you were touching into some old world stuff. Like, dude, I had to have you back on, man, because that is like seriously my favorite topic in the world.
Yeah, it's new to me. I'd say the past year, I've really been kind of looking at it from that truther mentality perspective. Once I heard the past couple of years, once I started hearing it, it was like, I'm in the middle of other films and focused, and it's just it became one of those like, okay, wait, history's a lie. They covered some shit up. Okay, like I was kind of already like, I'm on board. I mean, I go after the Copernicus model and Copernicus himself that he was bullshit. So it's like I'm like, okay, that makes sense. I don't have time for it though. Like it's too much. It's too much to grasp. And once Level With Me came out, and I cleared up at least a month or two of free time for myself for the year, and I'm just like, just no free time at that point, dude. I was just like, just drawn in, and then I started to go to the different downtown areas in California and LA and San Francisco, just going, then Texas. I just started going places. I'm like, okay, like there's so much, there's more stuff here than anything I can do on my own in terms of a one-man band with the flat earth, right? I would need to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars to really put it together, tests and weather balloons and all the stuff that's already been done, kind of, right? So it's like, it's not a waste of money, because I'd like to put my name on something like that, but that's a lot of money, and I got to raise it, right? I don't have a job, so it's like, I'm gonna raise all this money to do something that's been done multiple times. So with this, it's like, okay, this is a whole nother topic, man. This is like, when you see it, you can't unsee it. And now everything kind of starts to make sense, and history itself is a lie starts to make sense more. Cause I was already, I already assumed they're lying about a lot of stuff, but, architecture is the big one, man. And that's the nail in the coffin to me, is what you can see with your own two eyes, and your eyes can also read the story that they give us on a newly inserted wiki link, right? Like, oh yeah, it's a new Wikipedia insert, 3 years ago, put on the site, and it's explaining the building that we're all questioning now. And it's always this kind of same similar narrative and story. And then half the time, actually more than half the time, guys, as you know, it's built in one fucking year. Wait a minute. I mean, again, like once I found that out, I was just like, I'm making a film. There's way too much stuff going on. And of course, you can't fit it all into one documentary. I hope to do multiple on this topic, sequels, whatever you call it, on this topic. It's not that I'm done with the flat earth at all. It's just like, for me, it's like, there's so many rabbit holes. There's so many things to wake the masses up to. And if someone got pissed at me, like, oh, next year, they're like, oh man, it's April 22nd. Where's your flat earth part 4? It's like, dude, check my resume, man. Like I got 3, and possibly a 4th and 5th will come in the future, but I'm not gonna, I can't just do those topics. Like I made 3, like I tried to attack it from different angles, mental states of mind that people can understand, to grasp it, rather than just that mainstream flat earth, like fucking fuckery with which is what they want. Like I made sure I stayed away from anything that someone could be like, oh, what's he doing there? No. As you guys know, there's no way. So it's like, okay, I got 3 of those. Like this one, this is big, man, because even people that have no conspiracy in their mind of anything, they're just, regular masses, right? You start making a few points, they don't get too defensive. Like when you tell them, they admit water's always level, then you start talking about the earth and they're like, oh, so they don't do that with this topic is my, yeah. They don't do that with this topic is my point. So I make the normies think, and I'm sitting here like, oh, I'm like, dude, this could be one rabbit hole that universally can wake the world up, especially to the way our world used to be, and the possible harmonization and frequencies and love and all that we can only research and hope is true. But it's like, to wake the world up to one topic can wake them up to all of them that are important. And of course, trafficking is number one. Trafficking is most important. I'm not going to get too far into it on YouTube, but that's number one.
Go as hard as you want. You can burn this channel to the ground if you want, dude. I don't care.
I'm saying though, but I'm just saying for your audience listening, like to me, trafficking, especially our children, obviously children and women, that's number one, period. That should be on everyone's mind to eradicate and figure a way out to stop it forever. But the old world is a way to, in my mind, open up those doors for people to go, man, they did lie about our history. Like these history books are loaded with made up characters and stories that they wanted you to read so you could pass that down to the next generation, and which is what we've been doing for many years now. So it makes sense to me is my point. It makes sense how it can all unfold into living in this time now where it's like, whoa, what's going on? Well, the truth has to happen, right? It has to come out. It's inevitable now. We all know that. This isn't an accident that everyone's like involved in, like, what's the truth? Let's all research, like, fuck the government. This is, okay, there's always been anti-government people, but this is a whole nother wave. And this is something that probably they knew was coming. And I think that's why they're failing miserably in this war that they're trying to, get on the people, humanity and stuff. I think they won in terms of the NPCs like that. That's a battle that it's just like, at this point, what can you do? But in terms of the whole world and stuff, they're never going to be able to get us all. We're never going to, there's no concentration camps coming, guys. I get so sick of these fear mongers on, the Walmart. How long have you talking about Walmart, bro?
The FEMA camps under the Walmart. Yeah.
How long have you been talking about this shit? How many times do I have to see a military video of their tanks coming in, which they do yearly, in every base? They bring in tanks. People, here they come. It's like, all right, man, like, I'm sick of this shit. We're winning this war, and, people like us are proving that. That's all I'm saying.
Man, it's something that you're saying, how the normies are, they're not as frightened away from this, because I think instinctually, dude, I actually think that they know that some of this is real. You know what I mean? Like, it's like they know they're being lied to, when they're told our history, like as indoctrinated as they are, like, people aren't that stupid. Like, it's this whole thing. I mean, it's the new speech, right, where they're telling them, like, 2 + 2 = 5, that sort of thing, and so they just have to repeat it. But, like, in the back of their minds, they know that something's weird about this shit. And I think, like, when you walk down, like, in downtown San Francisco and you start looking at some of those old ass buildings, you're like, what the hell? It's wild, dude. And honestly, dude, this is one of the most important ones, because this connects to everything. This is like one of the biggest lies, actually, because, like, this is one that we can point out and prove, and that everyone can see.
What are these normie things that you said you can point out that even people that don't have a stake in it, all of a sudden they'll start waking up? Like, what are some of those specifics?
You talking to me?
Yeah, to you, Sean.
Okay. Well, for me, it's just to show them these buildings, like, when you're there, like, it's like to show them these doors under the ground. They're not windows, guys. Like, even if they were, that's kind of weird. So, and the naysayers, oh, well, this just for the, to get light in for the basement. Like, no, motherfucker, I know what basement hopper windows are. They were out then. Like, they know what those are. You could clearly see any place that has a basement in terms of it was purposely architected. Is that a word? It was purposely built in their architecture to have a basement window and a basement. You can tell that it was designed that way. And you can also tell that these buildings were not designed to look like the way they do now. And the simple fact of seeing the stone and seeing the inside of these buildings, the inside alone should take 5 to 10 years to do by hand.
Well, are we talking OSHA 5 years?
In the 1900s, huh?
Are we talking like 5 years under OSHA and like no child labor laws and like you get to call it quits at 40 hours? Because I think some of those aspects too, where it's like that only took a year to build. It was like, and we had 7-year-olds that were bringing the supplies in, and like 20 people died and no one went to jail over it.
Well, and that's the thing too. Good point. But that's the thing is that people also forget that, especially in the Midwest, okay, which is remnants of old world everywhere, especially Chicago, Detroit, you name it. St. Louis, obviously. That it blows my mind because some of these buildings look like it would take us 10 years today. But besides that fact, you look at it and you go, okay, they did that in a year. Like they couldn't have came up with a better story than a year. They can't because they only have a certain amount of timeline to do these things, really. And they're just kind of going over people's heads. It's not being taught in terms of construction about these buildings in school. They're not being taught at all. They don't know how to construct them. So for me, it's like the point of, okay, that took 1 year to make with no power tools at all. No way to get all these materials in quickly. And people forget, people forget winters. Hello. You're not out there doing shit in Chicago or Detroit or St. Louis in December. You're not out there doing any construction, bro. So now you're talking 8 months. It took 7 months to build that. But I need evidence of that. If that's what they're going to say, this is how I attack any psyop, any deception, any rabbit hole, is I go, okay, what can, like I did with Flat Earth, I went to NASA's website. I didn't keep going to Eric Dubé. I didn't keep going to ODD TV. I watched them. I go, they make fucking sense. I got it. Okay, thanks, guys, but I got this. Okay, I got this from here. I'm my own man. Thank you. Let me look at NASA's website. They better prove to me, right now is your chance, that this shit's legit. I got to see something like, of course that's real. And I never did that on NASA's site. And it's the same thing with these stories of these buildings being built in a year, aka 8 months in a winter. In the Midwest, when half these buildings are with marble and stone, where are you getting this shit from, dude? Shout out My Lunch Break on YouTube. He did a video not too long ago that a lot of the, like, where the marble was in 1901 or 1890 was 772 miles away from San Fran or something, right? It's like, wait a minute. I go, hold on, man. I go, is this timeline that bad? Were they that bad with it? Is it that bad? Like, you think NASA's bad? Like, this is bad. So I get a I don't know how else to put it besides a spiritual heart on for understanding, like, there's light on this deception and it's so bright for me. And I just look everywhere. I go, oh my gosh, man. Like, how can I even make one film out of this? I can't. So I'm going to try to do it in different films, but and try to make sense and try to keep it basic. Again, people that are into this topic, like yourselves, you will like this type of film. I'm barely starting, guys, but either way, you will like this film when it's said and done. It's going to be a staple. It'll be a staple. But my point is that you might not learn too much from it, just like I do with Flat Earth stuff. I tell Flat Earthers, you're going to love these films, but you're not going to learn too much. This is for your neighbor, your cousin, the people that, oh yeah, the Earth is flat. Oh yeah, they lied about history. Okay, shut the fuck up. Now you can watch. Now you can be like, look, man. Instead of, and no diss to John Levi or Michelle Gibson or Martin Leakey or anybody that does Tartaria stuff. There's Mine and Vel. There's so many. I'm not even trying to name drop. I'm just saying there's so many channels that are awesome, but it's hard to be like, hey cuz or hey neighbor, I recommend this person. Dude, you don't know what that person's into. You don't know if there's an Eric Dubé or ODD TV. Completely different type of feels to get the information for that person to be like, okay, I can grasp this, I can give this a chance. Again, there's no knock on anyone I just named. It's just the point of when you have it in a film setting and you can have some sort of marketing behind it or something where there's a little buzz, independent of course, but a little buzz about something. That's all I'm asking for at this point, because that'll draw people to a film that they can learn from the best and get the visuals to. What I do, my line of work is more not only making the people in my films look good, because they're on camera, man. They can stutter, they can this. I'm trying to make it as professional as possible, guys. I'm trying to make it so no one's like, oh, you see what they like? Oh, they fucked up. No. Like it's going to be professional, but it's the point of the influence it has on the viewer to take it as serious. This is not a joke. Like this is not a mockumentary. Like this isn't a conspiracy. This is the truth, and I try to deliver it in a way where anyone can grasp it, maybe not necessarily a double masker per se, but it's just the point of I'm trying to get it where it's like it's so raw truth, right? Where it's like there's nothing you can do to deny it. And I'll give you one spoiler about this film. I'm not going to name names now, but I have a real architect involved in this. So
hell yeah, dude.
I don't really want to go farther than that, just for many reasons, like I have in my own mind. But let's just say that they're, I don't have to announce everyone that's in the film in trailers anymore. Like there's stuff going on that we know that this is a home run because it's provable.
Dude, and this is the perfect time to do it too. I mean, like people are fucking waking up to this kind of stuff. I mean, just basically the government lying. Like trust in media is the lowest it's ever been. Trust in government's the lowest it's ever been. Like the only people that actually believe CNN and Fox News at this point are the boomers, and they're dying off. And like, so I mean, even if people like even the double maskers at this point, like they don't even believe half the shit. They're just like they're stuck in it. It's like a religion at that point, and they just have to go with it, But so this is one of those things that isn't necessarily, it hasn't been pinned yet to being left wing or right wing, So it's not one of those things that like you can just pigeonhole immediately and just kind of scare people, that sort of thing. So I mean, I think that this is a really important topic, and man, it's one of those things. Like I said, it's that you at least like you can see how the media is lying and manipulating us now. And when you finally take that red pill that like, oh shit, like before the internet, we couldn't catch the media in lies. We couldn't question the narrative of history before that because we just had to take their word for it. And now we can absolutely check them in real time. We're like, oh, you're absolutely lying about this. You're absolutely lying about this. You're manipulating this. This was a false flag. You guys did this, and then you start to realize that history has just been a story this entire time. It's been a narrative by the same people that are in charge now. Those same elites, those same bloodlines, those same fucking lizard people are the same people that are in charge now. And they're the ones that wrote the damn history books, man.
No, I was saying the bad lizard people. I always read so much stuff. I don't know one way or the other, but I always read so much stuff that there's good ones too, apparently. I don't. Again, I have no idea. It's very interesting to say the least, but it's crazy though. It's crazy that it's all breaking out now, right? It's like it's not a coincidence that we have nothing but deception for 100 years and then 10 years of truth that's pouring out from every angle, and it's not stopping, and it's not gonna get silenced. I know they censor it. I'm talking about in general, in reality. It can never be silenced, and it will only keep getting more and more of a ripple effect. No one goes, you know what? I learned about this, learned about that. They lied about this, woke up to this. What? Fuck this waking up shit, man. I'm just going to go right back to 98 in my head, Like, no, I mean, maybe 1 out of 1 billion, but, it's like no one's going back to sleep. And I don't think you can. If you're awakened at this point in time, you're going to be awakened the rest of your life. If you're not awakened at this point in time, it could be a rough year for you. The next few, it could be a rough few years for you. I don't know what to say, but I'm not going to give up on people that, don't get it. I will give up on, the quadruple jab, double mask, present day, walking their dog fucking people. I'm just being honest. it's a waste of energy.
They gave up on
Having
themselves a
energy
long
for the
time
training.
ago, man.
Yeah. No, and it's no disrespect to the human race, but deep down in my soul, I feel like maybe they're not the human race. Because
Buddy, I mean,
can't be programmed
I'm
that way.
getting
It's
real
not
like
fucking
we'll get
understand.
kicked off of YouTube for saying this, but like I'm not even kidding. Like after the genetic changes, perhaps that were part of that, like, are you even human anymore? I don't even know, dude. I'm that's a fucking wild thing, dude.
What are you, for like a frog?
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's their GMO livestock.
Just
dude.
to be
It's
clear,
wild.
'cause I'm a little bit new on that. Are we talking Tartaria right now, or is Old World different than
Same,
Tartaria?
I mean, similar. Tartaria was an empire of the old world. Yeah, I mean, I think there was many empires, and I think that we're still trying to figure all that out. And that's why I won't, especially for this film, like I'm not staying away from the from the word Tartaria necessarily, but I think that that word's kind of misused in the sense of the whole topic in general is Tartaria. No, they were an empire that was covered up, and it's obvious they're covered up. You can even look at Russia's flag. I mean, they're stabbing a griffin. That's and Tartaria, the empire, was where Russia was technically. If you believe in maps, it's hard for me to believe in any maps, but in general, it's still there though. I mean, meaning it's still the cartography is still there. The copyrights are still there. You can see these maps that has where Russia is now. It's Tartaria, and if you know anything about the Tartaria Empire, they were all about that griffin, right? That griffin creature logo, and everything was griffin, griffin, griffin. And now it's like, is it really a coincidence that all these old maps with Tartaria now it says Russia, and Russia's new flag in our modern day is them stabbing a fucking griffin? So it's just like, again, that's what they do though. They, symbolism will be their downfall, whatever the fucking line is. It's true, because it's like, okay, that makes sense. Okay, guys, the jig's up. I mean, it's like if I could understand this shit, you know what I mean, and produce a film on it where sky's the limit for who can watch something like this. Of course, can it get on Prime? I don't think so. I've tried that with the levels and it gets rejected, whatever. And to be honest, it's funny because Prime, I call it a coincidence. Some don't. But when Level, the trailer dropped, me and Eric Dubay, and he was, he was so, not that he's not popular and stuff now, but like back that was like Eric Dubay, like everybody, oh man, you either loved him or hated him. Both sides, it's like he had both sides of that fence, and haters too. It's like the first time I saw haters with someone trying to talk about the truth. Like there's haters, and you see then Level. The trailer drops, it does well, and then Amazon Prime goes, because they had something called Prime Video Direct or some shit like that, where you, me, anyone could upload their film as long as it was in the right format, meaning you got to know what you're doing, but a short film, a documentary, whatever, right to their server, and you make $5 and put it on the Prime network. You can't make it free on the Prime network, but you make it $5, whatever you do, put it on there, and then if someone wants to rent it, they can, right? That's free will, I thought. As soon as I dropped Level, that is coming to Prime, and Eric Dubay narrated the trailer, all that shit, and it was a big deal back then. Like, at least for me, that was the biggest one. And they changed the rules. I got an email. Everybody that has a Prime account got an email that was trying to be in that direct, just upload. It was that easy. Just hit, just like YouTube. Boom, 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 done. And they said no more independent documentaries, no more anything can be allowed, no more video direct. No, they just scrapped it all. And that's when I go, well, what the fuck? Okay, now they're really going to make it hard for my neighbor to stumble upon a film of truth on his own. Are they going to Vimeo or Rockfin? And I'm just saying, like, no.
Are you saying you ruined it for everyone?
Say that? No. Again, I don't say that. I'm not that. It's not even about ego. It's just I'm not that. Whatever the word is. It wasn't because of me and Eric Dubay. But again, a lot of people they bring it up to me, and I've heard consistently because it was same time. It wasn't even like 2 years. No. It's like right. Here's the trailer coming to Amazon. Everybody's sharing #Prime Flat Earth. Done. So again,
what are the stipulations for trying to get it on Prime? Like, there's certain words you can't say on YouTube unless you want to get taken down, right? But
Yeah,
like,
again, I haven't looked recently, man. This was 2021, early 2021, mid 2021 when they changed it all. And and that's
do you
why
think you
that's
could
why I
even say
can't
flat
take credit.
Earth?
Say it again.
Do you think you could even say flat Earth in like a title, or would that get you swatted down, or do you think that that's
I
acceptable?
don't think so. I think at this point, because of the change they made, they have. Excuse me, I could be wrong, but I think they have to see it first, and then you got to. It's like a distribution. You got to pay aggregator? I don't know the word. I researched a little bit of it. You have to pay somebody, okay, which means I'd have to raise my budget. I don't want to do that. It's not fair. So I'm not paying $3-4 grand to a company, and that's like in hopes they can get it on there. There's no guarantee. No, fuck off. Because even with the old world order, I might try again. It's just, it's a lot of money that's coming out of my own pocket at that point. So, and I don't think it's worth it. It's like high risk, high reward, right? Because you pay, it gets denied. You just got fucked. If you pay and it gets through, maybe my neighbor can watch this shit on his own, and so can the world, right? So I don't know. I'm open for advice, man. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
But,
man.
my point is Vimeo. No one's really who knows Vimeo? Who knows what Vimeo is really in terms of masses?
Oh, that's that website my great grandpa used to suggest.
Say it again.
Right, Vimeo.
Vimeo, yeah, Vimeo is just like independent. It's a smaller company, it's independent films. It's not too small, but like for me, like Movies Plus is to me, they're the future of people like us.
No one's just clicking on. Well, most people aren't just like, well, let's see what Vimeo's airing today. Like usually, you're going to a specific spot on Vimeo and watching that thing, and then leaving Vimeo because they don't have the ecosystem like YouTube or Netflix or Prime or one of those things where it's like, all right, I'm done watching that. What's next? I don't think Vimeo really ever locked that in the same way.
No, and their software in general is shit, and it's just
Yeah, screw you, Vimeo.
It's a place I can. I was looking at it like, but it's a place. I just say, go look, dude. It's a place I can put it. They haven't banned me or anything. If they did, I don't fucking care. But it's for the masses. That's like the only section of for the masses, really, because Rockfin is truthers, right? So it's like Movies Plus is truthers. So in terms of like where can I put on obviously when it's standard def on YouTube.
So wait, is Movies Plus like a conspiracy friendly site? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, well, they got, depending on who you like in the conspiracy world, they got a lot of documentaries. They have everything from my stuff to all the way to Alex Jones. Again, pick your who you like. But it's just the point. They got stuff on there that won't make it to Prime. And that's what they, that's why I fuck with them, because I can see they're going out of their way, and they know people want to see this truth. They want to see stuff that, and I'm like, I'm not going to say what the topic. I'm not going to say what the topic was, but I talked to one of the guys at Movies Plus. Cool motherfucker. Shout out David Lugo. And I'm not going to say the topic because it's private, but I brought up a topic, and I was just joking. He had no idea I was joking. I told him after, but I said, hey man, if I want to make a film on X, I'll just say X, Y, Z, just one topic though, on X, Y, and Z. If I want to make a film on X, Y, and Z, would you put it on your platform? And for me, the answer was probably going to be no. But he goes, yeah, fuck yeah. He goes, I don't fucking care. Let's fucking do it. I'm like, okay,
hell yeah.
I go, I'm not going to make a film on that, but I go, like, just in my heart, dude, I'm like, okay. I'm like, finally. And again, like,
we're going to do a musical of the Elders of the Protocols of Zion.
That's my point. If you make a short film on it or documentary or something, even a full motion picture, film, documentary, whatever you want to call it. Dude, trust me, I'll email him. It'll be on there. It's as simple as that. Now they're very cheap. I think it's like $25, $35 a year. Okay. Prime is, you can spend that on Prime in a week. And these, again, for me, I'm sick of Hollywood. I'm sick of it. I haven't had Netflix or none of those for a long time. Hulu, years, dude, years. Because I don't want to see Tom Hanks. I don't want to see Jennifer Aniston. I don't want to see these people like on the poster of a movie. Fuck you. We know what you do. We know what you've done. I don't want to support you anymore. And the people that are like, well, I'm a truther, well, I'll just rent this tonight. Listen, man, I get throwbacks. I get Home Alone time. I get it. Like, I get how we are as human beings. Like, I'm not against that. But in terms of like constantly renting Hollywood movies, it's so hypocritical, man. And then they turn around and talk shit about me. It's like, what? Like, what? It's just crazy, man. It's crazy. It's crazy that we have the power to close Hollywood, close them down in a week, and including Truther. Just the Truther community, to me, in this world, could shut it down. And I think half of them are still in that closet of, I don't want to tell anyone what I'm doing behind closed doors. It is what it is. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say, man. I can't support these pedos anymore, man. I can't do it, and I won't do it, and there's no reason to do it anymore. We lived in the Matrix already. We all grew up in the Matrix. No reason to provoke it anymore. Or just let it go, man. Just unplug and move on and do other things with your life. It's as simple as that.
I'm out of the loop. What did Jennifer Aniston do in particular? Or is that just like a placeholder for anyone in Hollywood?
No, I mean, she's the queen of blood, man. I mean, there's so much tie-ins with her and adrenochrome and her.
Queen or king, man. I've also heard about her, like the whole inversion that she was a male, and I would not be surprised either way.
I wouldn't either. She does have manly features. I don't understand why people don't see that. But again, it's not about that to me. It's about the fact that a lot of these Hollywood celebs, especially the A+ listers, they're doing a lot of bad stuff, guys. They've been doing bad stuff for a long time. It's like people are, oh, Will Smith's gay now. Will Smith fucking someone in the ass. I'm like, dude, that is the softest disclosure they're going to allow right now. And I hope that they pull these masks off soon. I hope that everybody hears that Will Smith fucking some guy in the ass in Hollywood is cookie cutter to what they're really doing, man. And again,
they're only going to let you know about the adults he was fucking in the ass. You know what I mean? That's as far as the disclosure will go.
No, I disagree.
Oh, Will Smith is gay.
No, I disagree. I disagree in a sense of, I think that, dude, they're gonna. For me, we're all gonna know. Like, we're all gonna be here. Hopefully, the internet's still on so we can talk about it. We're all gonna be here to see something. And I'm not talking about 9/11 and running, and no, that's fear mongering. And I think you're soft for even predicting something like that.
I just gotta say, with that, Will Smith getting banged in the ass would have been way more interesting than After Earth, at least.
Exactly. Well, I'm just saying, man, I just feel like, the unveiling of the mass, or whatever you want to call it, or the reptiles, or something, meaning something like, probably, it would probably be number one or number two of the thing in your life forever that happened when you were here in this realm that you were here for. And I think it's coming. I think we feel something's coming. But the ones that feel like they see torture and fire and chains and tanks, and I can't, like, for me, I don't even want to associate myself with you. You got demons, you got issues. You must not know how powerful you are if you're that weak to speak like that. I mean,
this sounds like Alex in Clockwork Orange, where he's like reading the Bible and it shows him, but he's like Pontius Pilate and he's like whipping Jesus. Because, like, that's how he reads the Bible. You know what I mean? It's like,
I never saw that, but
the Proverbs part.
Wow. I never saw it, but it sounds like it's similar, yeah. But yeah, man, it's just a crazy time we're in right now, as you guys know. So I'm just trying to look at something like, hey, what's least controversial, but can wake people up to almost everything? And
I think waking up is controversial. Like, waking somebody up in itself is offensive and could, violently offend them. So
yeah, I'm proud to say I've woken up millions of people in 8 years now, almost now, millions and millions of people. I don't really notice those numbers until I look around and do a little soft math, and I'm like, oh my God, man, especially a couple of videos, a couple of my films. I think 9/11 was on someone's Facebook. It was like 20, 30 million. I mean, hundreds of thousands of comments in agreement with my opinions on 9/11 and stuff. So it's just like, again, it's like, wow, man, like, I just got to keep going. Simple as that. I don't know what the results will ever be, right? All I know is that if I keep it 101, the world can wake up. It's not about me. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just a soldier of God being used to do this. It has nothing to do with me as a person. It has to do with why I'm here. So it's inevitable. It's just they got to keep coming out, and even if I only wake up a few million people again, better than zero, dude. I'm good. I'm good with that, and I'm gonna keep going. And I want it to be double and triple and double and keep going. And that's all I can do. It's not about, again. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with the message, not even the knowledge. It's the wisdom. If people can come back to reality, trust their common sense, trust what's in them, and see what we see, right? The truth. They got no chance. I think they have no chance now. But to me, like, there's just too many of us, man. There's just too many of us, and we have to continue to do what we have to do in our lane, whatever we're comfortable in. It could be art, it can be podcasting, it could be films, it could be music, it could be rapping, it could be death metal. I don't give a fuck what you're good at. Use it for truth and love, and you will see it come back to you, and you will see the world that you want, But you produce videos on we're all gonna die, good luck on your drive home every day. I don't know, because I don't meaning like I don't know what's in your mind. I just wouldn't want to have a mind like that, Like that's not a way to live and wake up and be blessed to wake up, That doesn't make sense.
What you choose to dwell on really affects. Well, it affects your personal life, first of all, but then it affects your whole worldview and then everything around you and then the people that you choose to be around or avoid. And it kind of those type of negative people really kind of create their own negative. Because, in this place, you can make this place heaven or you can make this place hell. And it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. They make this place hell by putting out that energy, and that's also what they are receiving, because it's sick, man.
Who's the worst one for society? I wonder. Is it like Alex Jones fear porn, or is it Tom Hanks doing like a rom-com? Like, out of those two, who's doing the most damage?
Dude, Alex Jones, for the most part, dude, like he tries to warn people, but he's pretty fucking positive, dude. He's like,
let's take Alex Jones out of the equation, but like, you know what I'm getting at, like the spectrum between fear porn aficionado all the way to complete escapism and just like everything is Hollywood.
That's a tough one, man. I don't
like
even
if
know.
we're rounding them all up tonight and taking them out, who are we knocking on the doors of?
You're talking about in terms of who, if somehow it was up to me to pick.
Yeah, metaphorically, we're going to shoot them all in the head tonight. Metaphorically.
The bad guys, right? The bad guys, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again,
who's going down first?
For me, the root of that is probably underground. But either way, in terms of humans on Earth here in physical form, we can go fuck them up. Again, we could take out all these puppets, man. They hide nowadays, as you guys know. You don't see none of these motherfuckers walking the street doing anything. I can see Bill Gates at the mall. I can see Fauci at Walgreens, bro. Like, there's just people in general that you're not going to see around. So if they were around, there'd be issues with that. By this day and age, it'd be good to see actually what would probably happen to these people in the streets.
I was having literal fantasy about this morning. Not kidding. As on my drive to work, I'm like, if I could take out any of them, I could snap my fingers and their head would pop like a pimple. And Prince Charles was coming to mind. I was like, of course, like Fauci or Bill Gates or Klaus Anal Schwab, any of those thoughts came to my mind. But really, I don't think we know who the power players are. All these people are just
their bosses, Nate.
Exactly. Because all these guys are just what we get to see in the mainstream. They're the heel. They're the ones that we get to point at and be like, that's the bad guy. And they're not. They're just well-paid puppets, man. They're just out there playing the bad guy. It's all WWE.
And they could all be clones. They could all be manufactured. I don't know.
Dude,
we were talking about before.
I had that idea. I was like, I popped Hillary Clinton's head, and it was just like, oh, she was already dead. That was a clone. Yeah, it's
That's
just
my
like,
point. We were talking about before with like we're the human race, right? Like we were playing around. Like, what about the NPCs? Are they human? And it's like, I don't know. Have you looked into Cabbage Patch Kids? Have you looked into the incubator babies and the kids for sale back in the day, and the orphan trains coming in, and all these postcards from the mid 1800s and on of children for sale and people coming to buy kids that were like in cabbages and shit. I don't know what's going on, but then
Wild.
Mind Unveiled just had a video within a week or two ago. Yeah, within a week ago, because I just got back from Michelle Gibson's in Arizona, so that was last week. Mind Unveiled had a video, and he shows some old film. And it was, I think it was in the 70s, and it was a little like a low budget film, but it was just sprinkled with cabbages and cloning and creating, children, infants, and selling them out to the public. And it just makes you like, for me, it makes me think, because I'm just a thinking motherfucker, and I'm just like, wait, what if these
and it's all just soft
ones that
disclosure.
actually physically can't snap out of it? And you know who I'm talking about. I know everyone knows someone like that. No matter what you do or show them, they don't get it. Oh, they're not gonna lie. I got CNN coming on. Get out of here. Those people exist, and maybe they were a form of mutant, man. I don't know, because they're just not like, how do you not get what's going on? It's like, what, like we're not disconnected anymore from them raping our children and eating our children. None of us are like, oh, no way they do that. But 20 years ago, we all probably would have answered, oh yeah, they probably do that, dude. But that's just disconnect, right? We're disconnected. We're just too many distractions in our life growing up, especially in the 90s. Fuck, it's just like, just the best distractions of all time were the 90s. And it's like, we all know, right? It's like, you know how your meat's made, right? So you don't want to think about it. So it's the same thing. Like, we knew then, but we're so disconnected. Once you connect to what's happening, then there is no more like shutting it down in your head. And I think that's the problem with humanity, is that they know it's there. They know there's lies. They know there's issues. Oh, well, whatever. They're lazy. They're just, it's too easy to do nothing. And then they want to choose the easy route, I don't want to have a bullseye on my head when I walk around. It's, oh, you pussy. Like, really, man? Like, really? Like, you know how many hundreds of thousands of people make podcasts and videos and what we're talking about every day? No, I mean, I'm not saying they couldn't fuck somebody up. I get it, but it's like, this is not the time to be a coward, man. It's just not now.
I'm curious. Let's say that you're like crushing it at your job, and you like go to Cabo on, like every few months to blow off steam, and like everything else is going fine. What in the hell would you care if like the buildings that you're going and doing sightseeing at were built in a year or in 20 years, or if it were by ancient people, like to a regular old normie that's got a 401k and a retirement plan and wife and kids and all that. It's like, I'm just wondering, you go like, hey man, I'm telling you that this building was not made in a year. And like, all right, fine, yeah, sure, it wasn't made in a year, cool. Like what's the actual like action item that person is gonna do at some point about this information? Like, just teach their kid, hey, that thing is a lie, and then move on? Or like, what's the ultimate plan?
Yeah, I mean, again, there is no quick way to do this. This is why I make films to begin with. It's in a film format at that point. It's, you got to watch this film. You got to watch this film. Listen, man, movies and films have changed our lives, whether you admit it or not. Okay, they've all influenced us, whether we wanted them to or not. They did. So if you can do it with truth, it's more powerful than the lies that they've always given us in movies and stuff, right? Like, it's more powerful. Because if it resonates as true, and they know there's something that doesn't make sense. You're right. It doesn't make sense. Pause the movie. Hold on. Remember when great grandpa said blah, blah, blah? All these things can start flowing out of people's memories and brains and the world's fairs and all this stuff, and because the conversation has to happen first. The problem is you look at, I'm not saying you, but you might look at it like, oh, it's just like built in a year. People can just be like, oh, whatever, built in a year. Who cares? No. That stands out to people. Okay. It stands out. because we can't do that today. What happened to evolution? We're devolving with architecture. That wouldn't make any sense. And they had the
Well, I mean,
technology.
what if you look at the same thing with manufacturing, though? Because isn't manufacturing the same thing where if you had like a random widget that was made in the 20s, it's still working today. But if you got the version that was made in the 80s or the 90s, like it probably broke after like a day after the warranty expired, right? By design, but with the planned obsolescence.
Yeah, we're just the smartest, group of humans that have ever existed, right? I mean, we you buy a Bluetooth speaker and it breaks in 3 months. I mean, it just we're so cool because we have the internet, though, and it's like, listen, can I call it concrete evidence yet? I mean, I don't know, but there's some evidence, and I don't know what a tentative word of evidence is at the moment, but there's some evidence of video chatting from the 1800s, early 1900s, video chats, stuff that we're doing now, technology, mobile phones, Bluetooth. Again, man, for me, there's nothing new under the sun, and I mean that, but at the same time, when you can actually start to kind of unravel some of these things and go through some of these old documents, and I'm a newspaper buff in a sense, in terms of researching old articles, mid 1800s, newspapers, clips, whatever I could find, anything. I know some of it's obviously manipulation and propaganda, and I kind of know how to see through that. So, but then there's truth in there, right? Then they do put some stuff in there, whether giant bones discovered, them admitting they're dumping giant bones in the ocean. They don't know what to do with them. There's photos of this shit, and it's like, okay, like, no one fucking cares about this. They care about dinosaurs, right? Again, Rockefeller, man. I'm sure. I mean, he's just a pawn, but it's just the Board of Education changed everything. And the Big Bang Theory with all this was in the 1920s. Of course it was planned before, but it's just and Universal Pictures. Dun, 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 they start their globe in the 20s. Wait, dude, you didn't go up there till 69 to check, right? I mean, but in 1920, they're showing you the same fucking thing as they show you now. It was a plan. It's an agenda, and they've probably been talking about it since they either because I wasn't there, so either they discovered all this land from possibly maybe an outer land or something. I don't know. Maybe they just came to America and they saw these buildings. They're like, oh shit. What should we do? Okay, bring in some children, populate these cities, and you guys should know that story. Or it's either that or there was a reset. And for me,
that's one that rings true for me, man.
There's no option C to me. There can't be an option C. That's all. I wish there was. It'd be easier, but there's not to me. And it's people like, don't get stuck in your head one way or the other. Like, no. I have a brain for a reason. I know my thoughts. I know my intuition. It's A or B. A, someone from the outer lands came in and found this land and called it their own, discovered, founded by, blew up the rest and covered up history. Or someone built it and they're covering them up. You got to pick one. I mean, there's nothing, and there is no Columbus and discovering America and Copernicus. And for me, there's not even George Washington and shit. All that shit, man. I just feel like they just made up.
He never
shit.
told a lie.
Yeah,
and he cut down that apple tree, and all the fucking nonsense and bullshit that we're told, man. And there was a point that you made earlier when we were talking about like the term Tartaria was brought up, and I feel like that it's kind of been psyoped and kind of turned into like a catch-all for like anything old world just kind of gets thrown into this umbrella called Tartaria. When it was, like you're saying, it was like this was some massive empire somewhere in the middle of like Eastern Asia somewhere, and
everywhere really, yeah, depending on like how far you think that thing got big. But like I think the old world, I think there was probably multiple empires fighting, and Tartaria was one of them. I think that was one of the powerful ones. It was always a big fight and big feuding. Thomas, what you were asking before is like, why would somebody that has their 401k and has that, they go to their timeshare every year and they get their booster and they get on their plane and they go to
George Washington not existing doesn't affect their 401k.
Right. But I mean, those people, Thomas, that, like, to me, that's buying into Babylon. Like those type of people that are just comfortable in this like existence. Like,
but why? No, like legitimately, why? Knowing that George Washington wasn't real, how does that make you more woke or give you some extra insight on anything?
Here's why. To me, in my opinion, it's something that it's like swallowing the poison pill, and then you start to like wake up. You're like, you start to like, it's like peeling. It's like throwing on those like these glasses right here, and then all of a sudden you can't see things the same way. It's like a seed is planted in the back of your mind, and all of a sudden you have this new lens when you're seeing these things. You're like, hey, holy shit. Well, if they were lying about that, what else are they lying about? Like, I don't think any of this stuff, like, Nate, like it doesn't come all at once.
Out of my mouth, Nate. I was going to say the exact same thing. Is that's the main thing for me is that they go, wait a minute, hold on. They lied about this, and this. It's proven. It's here. Let me call my cousin. I always use cousin. Let me call my cousin because he was talking about this and some other shit. Now you think about that 401k guy or the guy that has 10 yachts and he has billions of dollars, who's just, all about himself and women probably, right? But the point is that he gets this knowledge, this wisdom, this information, and then he calls someone, let me get some more of this shit. Okay, now we have some powerful people that can help our children. Now we have some powerful people that can help reverse engineer this technology and get this world back. See, we can talk all day. We can make films. We can make videos. We don't have that much power in terms of money or connections or anything like that. My job is to feed that to those people. Give that to them. Just like I tell Bryce, that's why me and Bryce Mitchell are friends now. Me and BJ Penn are friends now because I activated it. It's just like a boom, wake up, right? And you have this bond because it's like you get it now, right? Yes, Hibbeler, you did it for me. Cool. We need to keep talking because you're an assassin. I'm not, man. I'm just a lover. That's just who I am. And it's not that I wouldn't fight. Of course I will. Are you kidding me? But these are assassins by nature, right? In the wild, throw them in. They're just ready to fucking all these people that I talk to and meet and stuff. And it's like, I want those people activated first. Because if I had to choose people to help our children and collectively come together, it's the MMA guys, bro. What are you talking? Like, what do you mean? Oh, no offense to the military, but I still choose them. I'm sorry. Because they would actually physically do it and want to do it. And now they want, you just got to, again, it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, this MMA guy talks to this guy. He's even more popular. He gets someone that's connected, involved, powerful, someone here, someone there. Did you know about this? Watch this, hear this, that. We can do the same thing. Just talk behind their fucking back. You know what I mean? Like they do it behind our back and they do it in front of our face too. Well, why can't we? And when is that going to start is my point. When is that really going to start? I don't know. All I can do is keep trying to wake people up and what they do with that information is up to them, bro. I just pray that we have heaven on earth again because I know that we can if people want it. If they want that, then we'll have it.
We had a comment earlier, so shout out to JCap. He goes, oh, we used to take a bath once a year, but also enshrine the Capitol buildings with millions of pounds of white marble extracted out of the ground and etched in gold. And so, like, to me, he's dead ringer right there. Like, they try to tell us, like, it's really funny, too, because they try to, like... They try to make the Europeans sound like they were filth bags, like, hey, you guys were dirty, and like, this is why you guys had fleas and the bubonic plague. You guys, again, you guys would shower once a year. They were smelly, how disgusting Europe was. And then all this education and all these like the well-groomed Muslims. And, they have all this like weird stories that like, to me, it's just... I don't know, man. I don't buy it, dude. I think Europe was, you can look at some of those old cathedrals, man. You walk into those places and your entire energy changes. You're just like, what the fuck? Right? Like there is some stuff here that like, we can't build those buildings now. Why not?
Because we're not allowed to. I think that's my big takeaway. Is we're not allowed to build those buildings anymore. Like all those pictures of the dudes out on the high rise that are like eating their lunch. Fake. Like how many OSHA violations are we talking about? That picture alone would have cost somebody tens of millions of dollars in lawsuits.
Those are fake pictures, bro. Are you talking about
It
the
might
fucking the Irishmen that are on the skyscrapers doing tricks to their never death? Yeah, no. Those are staged. They stage construction photos of the old world. They photo manipulate. People, oh, Photoshop's new, dude. I could show you photo manipulate. I got documents. They've been photo manipulating forever. And I'm not talking about just conspiracy stuff. I'm talking about, like, you know, take a picture of somebody and they're holding their own head. 1850, bro. Like, what are you, like? They've been doing this forever. These are fake. I get your point, of course, but you're referencing something that's bullshit. That's not. Those are not real. They didn't do that.
So every impressive building was just already here.
No, the old world, yeah. The stone, the kind. I'm not talking about wood and steel bullshit we have now. You know, post 1900 bullshit. They don't know how to fucking construct shit. Do you know that most of these old world buildings had? If you look on, of course, only a newly inserted Wikipedia insert, no one wants to tell you any information on this because they don't fucking know. Or they're lying. It's one or the other. But when you find the information and you see that not only did it take a year or two for this giant thing, but it's more along the lines of, again, the architecture. You don't start building a building with a mud road. You build a road first. That's 101 of architecture. Not only that, but if you look at who the architecture was, who look at this beautiful thing in Chicago or Detroit or Cali or wherever you are, anywhere in the world. Who built this? Who's the construction company? Unknown. Okay, architect. Oh, yeah, there's an architect. It's always one of the Masons, one of the high-ranked top hats back then. They always get about 5 buildings apiece, 6 buildings apiece. They spread them out, you know, or they're made-up characters, one or the other, pick your poison. But they give them these titles, and they admit this is usually 9 times out of 10. No prior experience in architecture, and they won a contest. They just had a design contest for the most beautiful building you ever seen. And when they show you pictures of it when it was built in 1902, why does it look 100 years old that day? And where are the when people go, look, man, there's construction of this or that, or, you know, this building, I go, okay, you're showing me sticks. Granted, I get it. Oh, look, it looks like the shape of an old world building. Look, there's a picture of sticks, and then you get a picture of the old world building, and there's nothing in between, okay? What I want, and what I've been requiring for a year, no one, all the naysayers are very quiet. I want photos of any building from 1850 to 1920 of them.
How much would a photo do, though?
Hold on. Let me finish my sentence, though. You don't even know what I'm saying. Inside of these cathedrals or old world public state office or buildings, whatever they call them now, I want a picture of them inside getting the stone done, getting these carvings done. These are by hand, guys. Where are those photos? Those would be the greatest photos of all time of our idiot donkey riding fucking ancestors building something that is beyond our knowledge. I want to see them do it with their paintbrush and shit. There's none. Once you realize there's none, of course they can fake the outside of something. They can use fucking sticks, popsicle sticks, and take a picture of it, and then take a picture of the sky and put it together and take a new picture of it. It's so simple. But people don't want to see that. Like, oh, they're just gonna make up construction photos. Yes, they have to. They're gonna just lie about pictures of the earth. Yes, they have to. I mean, that's it.
But if they lie about those photos, couldn't they just lie about those interior photos too? I guess I fail to see how any photo would make any proof at all, because it could always be hand waved away as well. In the 1800s, they can have you holding your own head. So none of those photos seem like they would give proof or disproof for any of this.
All right, let me comment on that, because that's a great point. I never heard that before, but it's my brain's just instant for you. It's the same thing as, well, if they're gonna fake space, wouldn't they just fake wouldn't they fake eclipse from space? No, they would. It's too hard to do. That's why you've never seen it in your fucking life, and you never will. You'll never see any clips.
But are we saying it would be too
from a
hard?
magical space. My point is in saying that is to compare it is there's some things that they're not going to be able to fake. So instead of just faking a few, you fake a few interior shots and spread them out there, especially the more common buildings. Then people are going to want that for everything, right? So just don't give them any. Give them some outdoor construction shots. And most of these, not most, I'm sorry, some of these construction shots are pitiful. It's the actual building in its entirety with, what do you call those, scaffolding railings going around. That's all they do. And to be honest, they could have took that fucking picture in 1965 when no one gave two shits about this topic. They could have took that picture in 1965 when they were actually maybe putting an addition or, you know, restoring something. They put all these things on it, turn it black and white, throw a sepia filter on it, call it an 1892 original construction photo. I'm sick of it, dude. It's so simple. When you just look in the construction and if our ancestors built this and you could show me a picture of sticks, then that means you can show me 3 months later. And you should be able to show me half done. And you should be able to show me fully done. And the people inside, like, look what the fuck we just accomplished. Look at this beauty inside. And guess what? No, there's no pictures. You know why? Because they said they're prisoners. Most of these builders were just random prisoners. No experience whatsoever. Now you need 20 years of architect school to even start to build glass and metal buildings. But then, just come on, fucking prisoner. Yeah, just do the mural by hand. The fuck out of here, man. There's just no, again, I'm sick of the anti-common sense. There's no common sense into that. Nor traveling 700 miles by donkey to get marble from San Francisco. There's no marble there. There's no marble anywhere in San Francisco, but you got to go fucking hundreds of miles one way to get how many pounds of marble can you really haul back with a horse? So you do that math, you see how much water they need, how many times they need to stop. What happened to this 1 year start to finish date? Take about a fucking year to bring one pile of marble back. And a lot of these stories, they don't even cover it up. They're like, yeah, this building has 2.2 million tons of marble. Okay, do the math back then. You're not you, of course. I'm saying you're retarded if you don't see how it's beyond deception. It's hilarious, and it's actually, to me, it's more funny than them trying to fake space stuff, because at least that worked. That worked for most people. It still does, unfortunately, but it's fading. It's fading. Even the NASA boys that I've known, you know, back home or friends, they're like, dude, yeah, you know what, lately, and to them, they're like, dude, yeah, Tesla kind of ruined that with the Tesla in space, and that's just fake, you know. It's like, why would they fake that? And then, you know, we hear what you're saying from years ago, and it's like, even normal people where I'm like, really, you get this? It's because, I don't know, man, something's going on. They're not trying, and I think that these Wikipedia inserts are on purpose. Shout out again to my lunch break. I can't take credit, but my lunch breaks YouTube channel also found many, not like one or two, like many old world building inserts on Wikipedia that's AI generated. So are the rulers doing this? Probably. They're using their own technology against us as always, but we're catching them. It's just the point. Like, you can't just replace names. He was a winner of a contest. The original building burned, though. Then they rebuilt it again. It's the same words. They're just changing names and cities and stuff. It's lazy. It's sloppy. It's sloppy, dude. It's fucking. I'm just sick of lying. I hate lies, dude. And especially when it's so obvious, it's so sloppy, and it makes absolutely no sense. It's kind of the same. Like, we're spinning 66,600 miles an hour around the sun right now. Like, it doesn't make sense, but that's why people accept it, because they're like, well, I don't fucking know how. I mean, they say we just don't feel it, and okay, it's just, you know, it's easy to believe. Isn't it easier to believe like you're just not moving? Like, if you start there, then you see the lies easier, right? So I can't control how people start their mind, but back to the 401k guy. You get my point, though. Someone like that wakes up, that's got a bunch of homies that are loaded financially, and maybe, you know, they have a part of their heart. Maybe they have a child, and they're just against trafficking or just hurting children.
I'm not sure I get the connection there, though. Like, I'm rich 401k guy, and I finally admit that I'm not traveling 6,000 miles per hour through the universe. But at what point am I like, and now I'm going to go save children from pedophiles? Like, where's that connection, right? Like, where,
Well, it
like,
depends
at
on
what
the person.
point do you say old world is real and you know the Earth is flat? Now I'm going to go save children. Like, I don't get that bridge.
Well, there's no other way to save children if you're asleep. We can't save our children if we're sleeping. So the chance of humanity, us as people, humans together, to save it, to stop it, goes up when you wake people up. It has to go up. When will that day come? How will it come? I don't know, but it's inevitable. It has to. It has to stop. They can't keep doing this. They can't just keep going. It hasn't been going on forever either. So again, everything must come to an end. And I don't mean us. I don't mean humanity. I mean them. And that's coming to an end. It has to come to an end. And if you don't feel that it's coming to an end, then you're part of the problem, in my opinion. This shit has to stop. Too many of us know about it. Too many people know, man. And more. My point is, more people are going to keep understanding. Like I said before, we all know about it, but there's a disconnect, right? There's disconnect over just in one ear out the other, distracted, right? But if someone, that's why I said probably if someone has a child or something, it might be a little easier, even if they're rich and snobby, whatever. It still might hit them harder in terms of what's happening to our children. But if they're closed-minded and not they can't think clearly for themselves, or they don't give a fuck. There's a lot of people in the world, they don't fucking care. They don't care about anyone but themselves. You know, that's unfortunate, but that still comes from programming. I'm just trying to deprogram people, man, and grasp the reality of certain topics in a format that they can understand and go, wait, okay, I gotta make some calls, or I gotta look into something. I have to research this because I can't sleep now. That's my goal. I don't want you to fucking sleep. I want you to go, I gotta prove this stupid fucking conspiracy theorist wrong. That's my goal. And when you can't, then you go, okay, your life is changing whether you admit it or not, because if you can't prove someone like me wrong in a documentary, independent documentary, you have issues at that point. That means there's a serious issue in someone's life when they can't prove someone wrong. That's a stupid conspiracy theorist. Well, to me, that means it's self-awakening time. There's nothing better. And I try to set that up more than just, I'm directly waking someone up. No, I'm not even trying to do that. That's almost impossible, man. Of years of programming to just watch something and wake up. It's about planting seeds, knowing they'll grow, and praying that when they grow, for every human being that sees something I make, that they will somehow impact the world in a positive way. They will somehow do something differently than they never would have done before because they're awakening. If you don't agree that the world's awakening right now, then I guess I don't make any sense. Because they are. The world is awakening. I have this much to do with it. I have no ego attached. I'm saying because I'm in this game, I'm playing my heart out, man. Because it's, for me, it's now or never.
You might have this much to do with it. Maybe a little bit more than that.
Thank you, man. I'm just saying in general, man. I want there to be 100 more me, and there probably already are. I just don't know their names yet, and they're doing their thing out there, maybe in different countries. I don't care. It's just the point. I want more Stu Peters, right? I want more people that go out of their way to make a film to save people, to help people understand things. That's why Hollywood's basically closed, right? No one fucking cares about the new Will Smith movie or Tom Hanks. No one's going to care. Yes, will there be ticket sales? Of course. They'll wear their mask. I'm sure of it. I don't care about them, and you shouldn't either at this point. They've gotten our way for too long. The people that are slowing us down in this war will get trampled, unfortunately. And I don't want that. I don't want that, but they will. They have to, because it has to come to an end in terms of this evil on this earth. It's been here too long. There's too much light shed on deception. They know it. They know it. That's why they're speeding up their playbook, because they don't have much time here. And I think that soon, and I mean this, sooner than later, the masks are coming off, bro. They're coming off.
I mean,
we need.
Their methods of of information dissemination and things like that. They're losing power and control. I mean, who gave a fuck about the SAG people being on strike, like the Actors Guild and shit. Nobody gave a shit.
I drive through Hollywood. I'm like,
cared
fuck,
about-
I don't care. Yeah.
They're like, Hollywood's not making any films right now. If we don't get a deal, we're like, oh, who the fuck is watching movies right now? Who the hell's going to the movie theater? Like almost nobody, dude. No one gives a shit. Nobody's watching the late night shows. Nobody's watching like.
We'll
dude. I mean,
movie theaters. I'll pop my head in, and I'm telling you, man. Every time, no matter where I am in California,
the only person in the theater.
10 people, 20 people. Friday night, 20, 30 people, and I'm like, and I get
and they're all teenagers like looking for a place to like finger bang each other and sneak a beer in. That's what it is. That's what I was doing. I was trying to get a hand job back in middle school.
And
that's why we go to the movie theater. You know what I mean? That's it wasn't to watch the movie. We had no idea what the movie was about. Like afterward, they'd be like, "What was the movie about?" There was a guy and there was like a love story or something. I have no idea because I was making out with my chick. That's what the movie theaters are right now.
Name the last big hit movie. Go. Don't think. Go.
Ah, fuck. I don't know. Was there a Mission Impossible that came out at some point? I don't know.
Oh, it's the new Marvels movie, isn't it?
Is there a new Marvel movie?
That wasn't a dream.
Yeah, it's the new Disney Marvel movie. I don't know the full name of it. The chick one.
Wow. Here's my point, though. I didn't know that, but good point. Because if you compare whatever numbers there are now to this, whatever you said, the Marvel movie, if you compare the box office numbers now compared to, I'll be fair. I won't go Spidey on you. Avengers. The original Avengers at the movie theater, box office. I haven't even looked. So, yeah, I mean, technically, I could be wrong. There's no way I'm wrong.
Avengers sucks.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. My point is the box office number.
It matters to me. They just want to have to say that it sucks.
No, for sure. I just mean in terms of what I'm saying, the box office numbers are going to be night and day, dude. No one's going to the movies anymore. Yeah, anyone can have an opening weekend, man. I mean, the masses are the masses, bro. It's fine, but it's never going to be.
Barbie, that was the last big movie that came out, I think, right? That supposedly sold a bajillion tickets.
Yeah, just like Biden's vote count. Again, I mean, they're going to continue to propaganda that, oh, yeah, everyone watch this shit. Everyone keeps watching CNN. No, your ratings are awful. Dude, no one's watching. Nobody watches Fox anymore.
That to me is like the biggest fucking thing for me is like when you realize that Joe Rogan gets 10 times the amount that like CNN will get in a week, Joe Rogan will get in an episode. You're like, are you serious? And that's them counting. Like, I can't remember how much they said the percentage of CNN views were just them being played in like gyms and like in like airports and like doctors' offices and bar. There's the TVs on.
I bet you it's half.
It's so much, dude.
That's what I mean, man. You can have a podcast like this on YouTube. I guarantee it outdoes the CNN video this week. I guarantee it. It's not about me or you. It's just reality.
Well, they don't need ratings though, because they're just like you, Sean. Like you're trying to put out information for a certain class of people, where it's like you're trying to be that catalyst. Yeah. CNN is that catalyst. Like they're the ones that put the information out for everyone to absorb, and you can't put a price on that. They could operate at a public loss. It would make it more obvious, but like CNN has to exist and Fox has to exist because that's how the state delivers the information they need the normies to hear. Because no one's watching.
Also, how they put out information that they are now deemed legitimate, right? So then that's their legitimate sources that they can put out. Oh, well, CNN said. Well, the mainstream media says, and they're all agreeing because this is such an important point that even Fox and CNN, the ones that they
that's a good point. Whenever that's always someone's like best point. When it's like, well, CNN and Fox are saying the same thing. So I mean, clearly, like they can't both be lying. They would never do that.
Oh man, it's the same thing as Biden and Trump saying, that they're against, something. It's like,
well, if Kerry and Bush are saying the same thing, forget that they're both skull and bones. But the fact that they're complete opposites on total ends of the aisle, like they would definitely not have a beer with each other. They'd rather have a beer with you or me because we're
They
real
definitely
true
didn't blow each other back in college.
Yeah, but they didn't 69 in the coffin in the obscene rite ritual right before they chowed down on a live adrenal gland.
I wouldn't be surprised, man. That's the thing. I mean, even CNN and Fox, their ratings 10 years ago were off the charts. I mean, they were primetime.
Dude,
ratings.
Bill O'Reilly had a special on JFK assassination, but then he went out on like the other end of that.
That's the thing. That's why you see a lot of these personalities doing their own thing now. Even if they're sellouts, even if they're a part of something that we don't want them to be a part of, it does suck that it's not.
Well,
about
dude, I mean, even someone that is like kind of perceived as mainstream that is kind of doing their own thing. Like, I see so much value in like what Tucker Carlson's doing, dude. Tucker Carlson like literally has some like
He's my favorite CIA agent by far.
yeah, I mean he's definitely
There you go, buzzing. Well, that's the thing, man. Like for me, someone like that, yeah, definitely the agent-ish, but at the same time, I don't have the facts on that. It's just for me, someone like him goes, man, we're losing ratings here. Fuck this place, man. I could go talk some shit about the left and make triple. And I think number one, it's for money. Number two, it's for freedom. Now they have freedom. They don't have a network, right? Per se, they got handlers still, I'm sure. But it's just the point of people like that. And I'm not even dissing Joe Rogan here, technically, but I kind of am. Just anyone that's like, oh, they're awakened now. They're, hey, don't get your jab and question this and question that. Where the fuck were you the first year? Where the fuck were you guys when the shit rolled out? You weren't talking like that. So the people that act like that's not you guys, but people that act like some of these people. Oh, look, they changed. They're saviors now. They're heroes now. They did nothing to help our family, because they're influencers, right? They're influencers. They're all these people. You can go down.
I mean, people like fucking Joe Rogan.
A lot of them came a year too late, man. It seemed like it was right at the same time. It was like, and now you could be against it. It's too late. We got about. Only got about 2 billion arms, right? I mean, it's like, yeah, now you can go, you know what? Something's up with this vaccine. No big deal. Go ahead. Now you're a hero to the ones that are blind, and you're, oh my God, they're on the right now, to the left. So it's like they're still going to get money, right? They're still going to grow their brand and business and show, and they can go anywhere the fuck they want. They can set up a webcam in their house and their draws and make millions of dollars. They already knew that before they did their own thing, in my opinion. But I think they're feeding off the truth. I think they know, like, oh, there's a market for this now, and they're attacking it from a way where they can control it. They give you a little bit, sprinkle a little bit, where you go, yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, but then I notice people fight what they disagree with them. Like, oh yeah, he said globe, or he said this, or he said that. Okay, well, then shut him off. Why are you watching him? None of these people are going to talk like us ever, bro. And guess what? Because the time is over for that. It's not. There is no. Maybe they'll start soon. They all know what's going on. They all know what's coming, what's planned, what's talked about, what we are talking about. They all know this, but they keep it in this controlled fence bucket because reasons unknown, I'm sure. But I think we can all speculate why they're not going to go full truth, and I can't respect anyone like that. I'm sorry. You're a coward, and you will pay for that, because if you have a voice, God, I'll what I would do to have half that voice, because of the power that the people hear it and go, oh, I got to see. Oh my God, let me look. No one's doing anything, man. They're giving their opinion. They're getting their hour in 4K with their nice cameras, and they're going home, and they're spending all these millions of dollars, and they're doing nothing for our children. They're doing nothing for the truth. Nothing.
Well, it's something. It reminds me of the parable, like what you're talking about. It said, like, you will be judged. There will be a payment for that, right? It just reminds me of the parable that Jesus was talking about when he was said, like, the rich man gave his servants like a certain amount, right? I think there was a couple of parables where he like gave certain gifts to people, right? And the way that they used those gifts, or the way they didn't, and it's like they were given this certain amount of money, right? The other ones were like his servants were given a certain amount of money, right? And some people buried it in the ground. Other people used it, invested, and brought it back tenfold, right? And so like the person that buried it in the ground, like he was like, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? Like, I gave you 10 times the amount. I gave you 10 times the amount than this dude over here, but he brought back double, and you brought back the same shit. You never used it. You didn't do anything with it.
Is Jesus Gordon Gecko in this situation?
Yeah, kind of.
Is he like ABC?
Jesus has been portrayed to so many people before anyone's even heard his name, too. That's the funny part about
What if you show up and you're like, but Jesus, statistically, only 5% of small businesses, and he's like, get that shit out of here.
Dude, that's up,
straight to hell, bitch. Turn a profit, straight to hell.
Oh, that's a sin now, by definition.
Yeah. Sin as in without the money, bitch. Leave.
I can respect religions in a sense from the love and purity side of them. If it turns people into better people than they were going to be, I'm all about it. But I'm not about them as what they're actually, in my mind, representing and what they've done to our world and humanity and what they're still doing. But
I mean, the way that I see it is that like they started as like a true philosophy about love and compassion and things like that, and then they were occulted by these groups for power and control. I mean, you can't tell me that the Vatican. Look at the Vatican right now, where you have the fucking Pope, and he's telling you like, "Hey, you have no reason for guns. You need to give up your guns. Weapons are wrong. These gun," and then he's surrounded by fucking guns and weapons and people, and then he's talking about love and doing unto others, and then then you know that he has been like caught like covering up pedophilia, all kinds of fucking wild shit. Like these people are goddamn snakes in the grass. Like it's all a lie. They don't believe it. Like these people are literally there to manipulate you and control you. Like they're sick fucks. So what is God? Like to me, the Holy Spirit, that's the connection that I feel right here when I feel God. And that to me is like connecting. And what is church? Church is like the body of Christ. So that to me is like when I get together with other people. That's like a community of like people. It doesn't have to be in a building. It doesn't have to, you don't have to pay a tithe. Like, it's not, so church to me is like, I can go to church with like a good friend. We can talk about Jesus. We can talk about love over some beers at a bar. That can be church. I'm not kidding, man. That's when I'm going to church.
We're in church right now. Fuck it.
We kind of are, dude. This is church right now.
Would you like my opinion?
Yeah, brother.
Are you sure?
Dude, throw it at you. Yeah.
Okay. To me,
you can't hurt my feelings. I know I have my connection with God. So.
No, I love that. No, I love that about you, bro. That's why. But I still got to double check. But for me, man, again, to revert back to the old world, it ties right back into this. From what I'm seeing, it's only been a year, but from what I'm seeing, churches were no such thing. There's no such thing back in the day, man. There's multiple photography in the 1800s before these buildings were altered or discovered, or on its discovery. There's no crosses. There's no church windows. This was all put into these cathedrals years later. This was a story, in my opinion now, that the Freemasonry, right? It's Freemasonry everywhere. Good name to call your group, your fucking hats, guys. And I think that they came up with some religions to start and wanted to give some, because they wanted to preserve some of these buildings. They wanted to save some of them, and they're just fucking gorgeous. I mean, when you go in them, you're like, yeah, I understand why they don't want to burn them all down, but they needed an excuse to keep them here. They needed a reason. And that's why a lot of them are, this is for government, state, Congress, council, and office, and this. But then the other ones, what are they? Cathedrals. They're churches now. Now is my point. And that's something that's new to me. I've been looking at this for a while, and it's kind of disturbing. Because when I watched the old video years ago from Eric Dubay called Jesus Christ Never Existed, I watched that because I was like, man, this guy woke me up to a few things. Well, what the fuck is, like, why would he make a video even called that, bro? What's wrong with you? And then, of course, I gave in and watched it because, it's one of those judgment type of things at that point. What the fuck are you saying here? And when I saw it, it threw me back in my chair again. And I started going ape shit on the computer and old newspapers and all this stuff, and it just again, my opinion, but there's just not much evidence of anyone named Jesus Christ before the 1800s, man. if any. And again, when I see these old world buildings and I don't see anything religious on them at all, nothing. It looks like they're batteries or something. It looks like some of these buildings have a whole different purpose. Those big circles with this star print. It's like you zoom in on a star, right? You see that it looks like they're redesigning the star. I don't know what it is, but all of a sudden now you look at that building, modern day Google Earth, and you see a colored church stained window. You see two crosses put on top, plastic, wood, whatever they are. These are altered old world buildings, and you have to ask yourself at that point, okay, well, now I need evidence of churches, religions, and churches and gatherings around that time period, around the same time period where they're lying about it. And now I need raw evidence of that this was legit. And I just really can't find. Only thing I can really find are stories, which we all hear stories of the Romans and their religion, and these people and the Greeks and their religion. And I close the book like, this is a fucking story. Oh, Rockefeller owns this one. So I just kind of draw the line somewhere where I'm like, what can I actually, my own eyes, my own senses, what can I prove for myself? What's real, what's not? It's a crapshoot, right? It's Russian roulette. You guys know that. It's you don't know what to think, what to do. Even if you want something to be real, you want something, and that's that globe effect, right? I'm gonna take my book, and it's the same thing. Don't take my Buddha. Don't take my Jesus. Don't take my Allah. Whatever people listen, man. If it makes you a better person, do it. I'm all about it. But I'm more about the truth than taking the word, no offense to anyone listening, I'm sure people will unsubscribe to me, but then taking the word of a book that's free in my hotel.
That sweet Gideon Bible. Yeah, buddy.
I'm just saying in general, with what I know about how much stuff they lied about and how they got away with it, and kind of how it seems like this kind of obvious how they did it and why they did it. You start putting these things together. I'm gonna trust that they allow that's sold at Walmart too. Like, I understand it could just be manipulated or altered, and I'm cool with that. But I still look at it as a coincidence. 12 zodiacs, 12 apostles. You could do all these things with astrotheology and line them up with the Bible and go, oh, is that what they mean? Is this an astrotheology description in a human form of our our creator and the universe and everything that's going on? And these are stories in human form. I got different routes with the Bible and why it's here and why it's so powerful and why there's power in it. And I get steered in different directions. It's a confusing time for a lot of us. But in terms of religions in general, I don't know, man. I just can't get on board with it, man. There's something in my brain that goes, there wasn't much going on before the 1800s, man. Like, of anything that we know of. We don't know. We just don't know. And once we can admit that we don't know, we weren't there, there's no evidence either way, right? Oh, there was no videos in 1790. There probably was. But at the same time, as common folk, we can all agree, even truthers, we can all agree that maybe there wasn't in the 1700s, right? In terms of like what we know in the world. Yeah, there was nothing back then. Okay, well then we don't fucking know. And I stop there. It's as simple as that. You can't know. You got to pick up a Rockefeller-funded story, a National Geographic story, a whatever story. I just can't do that. And there really is no non-mainstream version of these religions. It's even if someone's a truther and they still cling to this, I go, dude, there's still something missing here that we need to figure out, because everything's changing for us, but not this thing. And that's what it was with the globe for a lot of people that I know. Now they're not globers, but what's up, Sam Tripoli? Love you. It's just there's certain people that they're not globers anymore, and you can see the spiritual awakening. But I don't mean it from a religious standpoint necessarily. It's more of a, like you feel more connected to source, right? The creator of it all. There's something going on up there. You feel these books are not going to get in the way of that. Is all I'm saying. Like, these books can't stop me or start me from having a relationship with my creator. There's no way. I don't need that. That's all. I don't. People are, no, yes, you do. You're in a cult. You're going to go to hell if you don't. Dude, don't say that. Like, I tell people, don't say that. Don't ever say that again. You're so ignorant. for thinking. You know
So
the law.
you and I agree on, I think, on religion more than you think, man. Like it's one of those weird things where I like probably about 2 years ago, I quit calling myself a Christian and started calling myself a Christ follower, just because I did. Whether he was real or not, the depiction and the stories and the words that he said were very wise and beautiful. And
Yes.
I think Jesus Christ was a pretty amazing character in a book if he wasn't a real person.
He might have been. I look at him as like he could have been a giant. Yeah, who knows? Who knows where the
Dude,
source of
we
the
have
story-
stories where
invention, dude, that Rockefellers invented him too, just like everyone else. And I would even go so far, the quote about like if somebody hits you, then turn the other cheek and like let him hit you again, dude. That classic Rockefeller. That's like I want to be able to walk down the street and just slap poor people and watch them say, "Yes, please, sir, may I have another?" and slap them again, and then they walk off thinking like, "Oh, eye for an eye will make the whole world blind." That would be so easy to rule people to believe that way, and then say, give unto Caesar what is Caesar's," right? Like, if people believe that and they think that that's morally good, then they're subservient.
Well, and I've been saying that for years on many, many shows that in terms of the religious aspect of conversing about religion, it gets uncomfortable with people sometimes, but I totally agree, man. And you look at some of these older scriptures and even some older Qurans and just different books that, bro, there's scriptures in there. There's words in there that are not there anymore, as you know. And a lot of those words are, if some evil's coming into your territory, fuck them up in the name of God. Blow them the fuck up. Fuck them, right? And I'm like, oh,
what
shit.
would God do, bro? He'd wipe them off the face
that.
of the planet, and then he gives them a little rainbow sticker that's like, oops, Won't do that again. Here's a sticker.
The word for it was smite. Smite those motherfuckers, dude. It's fucking interesting, dude.
The son of God, Nate.
That's something, dude, that isn't really discussed with Christians very often because they don't want to talk about it. Is that the Old Testament God and the New Testament God are not the same person. They can't be. They're just not. And it's not the same person. Because then it says God is love, and then it says that God is this, that, and the other. But a minute ago, God was wiping people out, killing people's firstborn kids, doing this, that, and the other. And then Jesus died for your sins, and Jesus loves every single one of you the best. And he it's not the same God, dude. It's not. And so, I think which one was more manipulated? I don't know. Probably the New Testament is more manipulated, especially when you get into like Romans, where you're like Romans 13, where they talk about.
Are you mixing proteins on one dish though, or are you like if shellfish and chicken touch the same plate, you go and like bury it out in the yard for 4 days? I don't know what all the rules are, but that's
as wild as it is, dude, like I'm still a more New Testament guy because that Old Testament God, I don't like him. That I think that is like Yadaboeth. I think that is like
your racist great grandpa. We're like, we don't talk about him. He's a patriarch, but we don't talk about him.
I don't know what he is, dude. I think that's Saturn, man. I think that's the demiurge. That son of a bitch.
Yeah. That's a good point, though. I don't know, man. It's as little as the old world topic would sound for someone's awakening journey. I think it's a topic that isn't as controversial, right? You talk about the globe is bullshit, the earth is flat, and it's controversy all over because they already ridiculed the fuck out of the word flat earth. They didn't even want to hear it. I don't want to watch that. Oh my God, flat earth. This is like, oh, I like history. That's why I keep hearing. I'm making a film on the old world. No, I'm making a film on the old world. Like, what do you mean old world? Like the old world buildings, all downtown. You're like, there's a Dunkin' Donuts, and then there's this giant temple that looks like it took 70 years to build by hand. They're like, oh yeah, I know. I was like, yeah, a lot of those were built in 1902. Took a year to build. They're like, what do you mean a year? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, that's the point. I'm like, I gotta see this. I mean, literally, I go to a hotel. I'm traveling, and I'm talking. Me and Johnny, we're talking to the lady that's checking us in. I'm telling them what we're doing, got all the equipment and what's going on. I tell them I'm blatant about it, but I'm not conspiratorial with this one. I don't have to really get. There isn't no conspiracy with this. I put the facts. I'm like, yeah, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, donkeys, horse. That doesn't make sense. I got to see this film. When's this film coming out? There is no, oh, you're a conspiracy filmmaker. No. And that's the vibe I'm getting with the old world. And that's my point in saying someone like her could watch that and go, wait a minute. Yeah, again, my grandma told me so, and things just come back, or they remember their childhood, or they remember their grandma was a fucking cabbage baby. There's people in the public now that know that their relative was purchased. They already know that. There's no slave and whips. No. Purchased through the cabbage process and all that shit. Like they heard about it. They see the postcards. They see the old ads. There's ads in newspapers to buy children. I mean,
so Sean, that's something that we should get into. Let's talk about some. Well, first of all, some fucking theories about what the fuck happened, and then so let's talk about. Let's say this is around the 1800s or something like that. That we are newcomers to this place, and we find these old ass buildings, and because like there are examples of, like you were talking about, those old cathedrals where they can see where the Freemasons put an inscription on a building like they built it, but that stone is like 100 years newer than the building, or even more.
Well, they added 1,000 years to a lot of the buildings.
It's like they were tagging it. It was like graffiti. They're like, hey, we did this. And it's like a kid copying homework or something. It's fascinating, dude.
Yeah, no, it is. And obviously I saw a bunch of them in Arizona. You could just see that they write something on it. You know, it's usually like in a plaque form, like a modern day plaque looking thing. That's just
we was here. We was kings.
Just thrown on the stone. It's just thrown on the stone, and it's like that's from the 50s or 40s. Again, I think that there wasn't that many people living here in the early 1900s, guys. That's just me. I just don't think there's that many people living in this country. The way they give us numbers like, oh, there's 1 million people in San Fran. Then okay, well, I got a picture of San Fran from 76. Full picture, wide horizon. I can't say the whole city, but most of the city in frame, high resolution. First of all, I'm like, man, this is high resolution for that year. Then you go and you cross-reference. You can't just take people's words, and it actually states publicly, at least, that that's when the picture was taken. Okay, can't really go off that per se, but for the sake of this argument, I will. It's like, okay, they're even saying this is when it was taken. There's no one in the picture. So there's 1 million people or however million people living in the city or whatever they say. You could do it Chicago, Detroit, all these empty cities, but all these buildings are built. So it's like, wait, you got 10,000 people living in this small city, or sometimes it's like 5,000 people. It's like, oh, in 1905, there's 5,000 people here. And it's like, did they all help build this whole community? Look at this.
That's the thing, man.
The whole thing is old world. The whole thing.
To me,
the houses look like old world. It's built and it's buried under the ground. You see doors and windows, half of them on the bottom. Like, who the fuck built that? What kind of architect would be like, yeah, let's lay the foundation. Wait, before you don't pour the concrete yet, let's put a door down there facing the mud and dirt. Why? Oh, well, the official story is that they want to let a little sunlight in the basement. Well, most of these basements are not existent. There's no basement. It's just a window there. Okay, which one is it? I thought it was designed to let light in. I know there's a room down there. Like people at the Field Museum in Chicago, the old world temporary building that's still there today. Okay, so it's still there, and a lot of the old world is still in Chicago. And we talked to some people inside the building. I got on camera, so you guys will see it. But these people had no idea that the architect of this building had no prior experience. They didn't even believe us. The lady, though, I know she's a manager of the museum because we were filming for a while, and she goes, "Where on earth would you hear that? Your website." It's like what? And I'm like, yeah. Well, I mean, again, these people don't fucking know anything about anything. They have no idea. And you can call any old world. If you think it's old world, call them. Just call them for fun when you're bored, taking a shit. Call them. Hey, yeah, I just had a couple questions on the building. Nobody knows anything. They don't know when it was built. They don't know who built it, how long, where the materials came from, construction company. Hey, I'm a multi-billionaire. I want this redesign in my fucking yard. I got 30 acres behind me. I'm joking. I'm in a small shit box right now. But I'm a multi-billionaire. Let me, I want no one would ever get back to you, bro. These cannot have been made by people like us. They can't.
Well, see, that's where I want to get into this, man. Is like, who were these people that did build these? That's something we can like hypothesize about since we don't have solid answers, right? And
I don't
then,
have any right now. I'm not even to that point yet.
yeah.
I didn't even need I don't even need a tentative response to that. I wasn't there, but I'm sure we all have our opinions on that and giants and I've heard opinions of God built them, and I won't rule anything. I don't know how the fuck would I know.
Dude, I love the stories of like the Temple of Solomon, where he was like literally using a ring to make demons build this holy of holy temples. Like, how wild is that? It was supposed to be this insanely crazy temple, but then you also hear the stories that that this was constructed by Freemasons, because that's the whole story with like that. That's the free story, the Freemasons like backstory. That the Masons built it. Hiram Abiff built it, and then when they asked him his secrets, he said, "Fuck no, I'm not telling you." And so then he was murdered, and so he's there. He's kind of like your patron saint, right, Thomas? He's like the martyr of Freemasons.
It's in the name. There were stonemasons, so like the fact that they build so much shit, it's kind of like. The doctors are all in on it. It's like right in the fucking name that that's what they do. It is literally their profession.
Let me ask you guys something. Do you find your house?
Did I find my house on Zillow? I did.
No, was your house founded? Did you find your house? I'm just asking you a general question. Was your house founded?
My house was built by probably some wetbacks. I'm not sure.
Guarantee you can find that information out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, everything about it.
That's my built in the 70s, probably.
My joke didn't work. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
You don't find buildings. You don't. If you're a Freemason, again, in the word, which is probably where the word came from. But if you're a Freemason and you're like, hey, let's tell people we built this. You don't put founded on your building. You don't put erected on your building. You put we fucking built this shit and you got evidence of it, and they have none. I'm done with them. They're all fucking liars. These top hat fucking pieces of shit. They ruin humanity. Okay? They ruin humanity, and they're still tricking people today. And they're masters of their trick. I get it. But
so Sean,
at the same time, it's not hard to see. You know what I mean? It's not hard to see because I'm sure there's tons of Masons that are really good people. So it has nothing to do. This has nothing to do with them. It's like talking about Jews and then Israel. Those are two separate things. If you want, you know what I mean? Like for that discussion, those are two separate things to me. But at the same time, the Masons then, or they call themselves Freemasons or whoever, right? I feel like they were the unchosen fathers or rulers of these orphans, and they're coming in. And quickly, where are these orphans going? Well, they called them, I think, or asylums or something like that. School. They're going to school. What are they teaching the kids? What are they teaching your great-great-grandma, man? Like, what are they teaching her? It's like they're teaching her what we are still learning today in school. And I think this was the first initial time to fabricate a nation, cover everything up, because, Rome was built in a day, right?
Well, that's what they talk about, right?
In a year.
Those world fairs were actually a way of disseminating a lot of history and because that was around that time of the Great Reset. So like they had literal exhibitions of like, hey, this is what an Arab looks like. And he wears this funny turban and he, you know what I mean? And they had these like stories. This is the Chinaman. And he wears this hat that looks like and he also washes his rice with it. Isn't that goofy?
Everybody. Well, and so they were like world fairs where they're showing modern homes. They're on display. I mean, that some of these world fairs, they're like, hey, these are the homes we're going to build for the future. Some shit box that we're all in now, pretty much. Cube worship. It's rectangles. It's just cubes. It's metal and glass and wood. It's bullshit. It falls apart in 50 years. So they were pushing that to some of these fairs. I got some photos of that, some leaked shit, and you see, it's like, what else are they doing? They're saying, look, man, these are probably some elite people that were coming to these, not all the time probably, but some of these meetings were like, hey, look at this technology we found, right? That was buried. Like, you're smart, right? They got people coming in like, what can we do with this? How can we use it against them, or how can we use it to benefit us? But they didn't want normal people to learn what the World Fairs actually were going on. And the technology that they found and the buildings they found. And, I don't know. The excuse is like, it's just thrown up there temporary for this fair, and then we're going to take them all down. Well, we'll keep some. And the ones they kept are still setting today. And when you look at the World's Fair, those buildings already look 100 years old. So to say it's wooden plaster and temporary is so funny. And even when I hear people go, oh, well, my great grandpa told me a story about the fairs, I don't fucking care. Your great grandpa's a liar if he told you that he saw someone build those. He lied to you, or he's a Mason. I don't know what to tell you, because those cannot have been built in 6 to 8 months or whatever they said. And temporary, dude, those were the most beautiful structures that were always there. Then you go back to I know people call it artwork, but it's still 20, 30 years before that. There's art of the same buildings in the same city, Chalaga or Chicago, whatever you want to call it. They've always been. They were there. These aren't temporary, especially San Fran. We got a few now where these San Fran buildings that they're in this magical temporary quick fair, they were already there, man.
Well, that's the wild thing, right? Where, like, if you take the mainstream story about San Francisco, it was literally within 10 years, it was like basically founded, right? Like it was just some pioneers going west. Then they found some gold, and all of a sudden there was a giant gold rush. And within 10 years, it was this insane city. And it was San Francisco that we know now. And they built, like, basically old San Francisco was built like in 10 years. That's what they say. There's like photos, and it's absolutely fucking crazy and insane. There's no way any of it could be true, man. And I also
feel like such an idiot though, because that makes sense to me. It makes sense that if there were really a gold rush and everyone that wanted money runs out there and moves out there and sets up businesses, and there's no OSHA and there's no law that says you can't run 7-year-olds, into the ground until they're dead, then like, why can't you build an entire city in 10 years?
Well, I mean, if they had armies of clones from all those orphan trains,
let's say they did, right? Isn't it possible all of a sudden, or is it still impossible?
I still don't think it's possible, honestly, man. You hear those fucking stories, and I mean, I don't think that it's not possible with the technology that we know of now. And so, like, to me, that's always the interesting thing, where like things like the anti-grav stuff, like, I
feel like it is possible. We're just not allowed to, like China, right?
We're not allowed to know how it's possible. Like honestly, man, I'm looking at this one YouTube channel. I can't fucking remember the name. I'll try to give them a shout out. Maybe I'll even give them a little whatever. But they're talking about Göbekli Tepe, right? And they're looking at these old stones, and they're going through them, and these are like solid. They're like solid stone. Like, this entire building was made out of a solid stone, and like the way these things were cut and stuff, like, it's fucking impossible with the technology that we have now. You couldn't fucking do these intricate patterns, like how perfect it was. It's absolutely fucking crazy. I look at it. I'm a machinist by trade.
I don't believe that. I feel that we do have the technology to do all that now with like the ultra AI generated fucking like hydraulic, like,
no,
glass
dude,
cutters and stone cutters.
I'm a machinist, dude, and I literally, that's my job, is to cut into those things. It's like you will leave machinist marks. Like, they're too perfect. Some of that shit is fucking nuts, dude. Like, some of the way how smoothly the stones are cut. Like, there's people that will literally, like, smarter people than me. I'm not a fucking expert, okay? But like, there's literally people that are smarter than me that will say, like, we couldn't cut the stones to make them fit that perfect, that smooth, like the way that they are. Like, there's technology that we don't have now. At least that is out in the mainstream. And so, like, to me that always is the interesting thing, is like how much of this was like, because I love the story about this, about like the British, like the Britons, right? After the fall of the Roman Empire, them looking up at like the aqueducts and looking up at like these crazy buildings that the Romans had built. And like the Britons were like, I don't know what the fuck that is. And they didn't have running water again for fucking.
Well, the Britons were Neanderthals. They
like,
still are.
Kind of. I mean, well, I hate the British, but fuck England. But but seriously, like I think about it, like, but I mean, how much technology gets lost when an empire falls? Like when Tartaria fell, when those engineers died, when like whatever that reset was, like then it's like if we lost the internet today and we lost and like a few people died, whatever it was, how long would it take to rebuild it? If we did, like for me, if you put me in the woods right now and you told me to build a cell phone, how many lifetimes would it take me? And it's wild to me because like I want to know what the elites know and how much of that technology is still occulted. Like, is that what the Freemasons were? Were they just a group of people that happened upon some of that technology and occulted it and held it? Thomas can't say anything or else they'll kill him.
No, but what you're referencing is the original top hats, the original groups. It's subsided since. It's a tree effect ever since. So it's not really a direct to anyone in there now. It's just back then. Maybe that's why they called themselves Freemasons, and that's where this started in a sense.
The Freemasons or the Illuminati or the Brotherhood of the Snake or any of these like
Freemason and Illuminati are completely different to me, but not even close. I think a lot of people hid behind Freemasonry back in the day too, in terms of their power stature, or they had to, or whatever. But I don't know, man. The thing is that it just looks pretty obvious that when you're researching some of these, even bullshit construction they're doing to try to show, oh, they built this. It's always, again, you see sticks behind you, even though the sticks are on mud. Like, oh, no one built a road. You know how to build these beautiful things by hand, apparently, and you started on mud. Okay. But anyways, there's always a top hat in the picture. Look for yourself. There's always two top hats, well dressed, just staring, hand in the pocket, whatever they got to do. But they're looking in the picture like, what's up? Like, yeah, we're faking this right now. It's us. It's us doing it. And it's like, oh, look, there's a few people there. I'm like, yeah. So is this wear your suit to construction day?
And dude, when you want to get into the paranormal,
dirty prisoners with dirt on their hand, where are these people? I want to see these fucking retarded prisoners doing what you just said we can't do today and cutting all this shit up. Which, again, if you look at some of these stones, some of these buildings, it's by hand, guys. This is by hand. This is not with machine, in my opinion. Some of it is, yeah, but a lot of this you could see it's one block cements by hand. They had nothing in the 1850s to even carry it. I don't want to hear it. There is no secret technology that, oh, the Freemasons, they actually built some of these. No, they fucking didn't. These are liars that started organizations. Whatever it is now is whatever it is now. These guys were liars. I don't know where they came from, but they saw all this free land and free buildings and said, holy shit, we can't populate this until we get rid of most of this, because people are going to go, wait a minute, are we in Rome? I thought America was just supposed to being discovered at this moment, and Rome's here apparently. And then you go to Korea and you're like, oh, there's Rome here. BJ Penn's in Korea right now. It's Rome everywhere. I don't think Romans built a goddamn thing either. So that's why I tell, it's Roman architecture. No, it's not. It's the old world architecture, and it was everywhere on our plane. It doesn't matter. You could throw a little Chinese flag and put some ribbons around it in colors. It's an old world building. It's the same structure.
Can this be like a fractal theory though, where it's like, let's say we peel back and we say it was old world, right? Couldn't there have been someone also in old world that said, we'd never built this. This actually came from the old world. And then someone in the old world's like, actually, this shit was here before your grandpa knew it. This is from the old world, right? Like, can't this just go back for infinity?
Yeah, I mean, technically, no, I wouldn't say infinity, but it's just weird because you'll have a cathedral in one part of the state, right? Or especially out in Europe. You'll have a cathedral here, and it's like, hey, man, that was built in 1120. And then the one across the street was built in 1919. And they look exactly the same. It's like, wait, what? So again, that's the confusing part of it to me is you're right. It could be all of it built 2,000 years ago, all of it. And they lied about every generation lied. Or it was just from our previous civilization. You can kind of keep it kind of simple, basic in that sense of there was just people before us. I think a Shaq and Yao Ming would be the midgets of their family. That's all I can really express at that point. They'd be a little fucking midgets in the way. Get the fuck out of here, Shaq, you short shit. And that's kind of how the world was. I'm saying, but that's just kind of how the world was. And there was bad, there was good. And probably before them, when the trees were even higher and the oxygen levels were raised, it was Titans or maybe someone in between. And I think in the next 100, 200 years, the tallest person would be probably 4 feet. So again, because they teach us lies, guys. We're evolving. We came from monkeys. Like, no. It's not at all. We're end up going to be a fucking monkey form soon because these stupid idiots in the street that don't have a fucking clue about life. They're already monkeys to me, man. They're retarded sheep. But at the same time, I can't judge them. I gotta stay on my path and know that this path that I'm on can help, and that's it. But there's nothing new under the sun, man. There's just I feel like they just consistently lie, and they give you a story, and it's sold to the masses, and it's guaranteed, sealed, packaged. Everyone in the world is going to be taught this happened in America in this year, this happened in Europe in this year, this happened in Rome, this happened in Italy, this happened in Mexico. And we got to go, okay, I believe that, or I have no fucking idea. And when you admit you don't have an idea, and then you start looking at it from, well, what can I put together? I'm smart. Let me see what I can find. Let me see some sort of evidence, some sort of this, some sort of that. And once you see the lack of evidence of what they're selling everybody, or none, and then you see, oh, shit, that does look mud flooded. That would make sense.
I do appreciate how seamlessly you can go from like these retarded fucking sheep. I mean, we can't judge them, those retarded fucking sheep. But I mean,
and that's
they're not even real people. They're like basically NPC. We're not judging them, but like if they died, there's no soul in their body. We're not judging them.
No, it's not that, man. And I don't mean to offend anyone that has close sheep family.
Yeah, no offense to all the fucking brain dead sheeple out there.
Nah, man. Look, man, it's like 8 years straight of doing this, and you get fed up with that shit. So I apologize to anyone that could, because you can't. Someone could get offended to that, and I'm not trying to sit here and act like they're worthless scumbags. They're just slowing down what needs to be done in this world, and we all point to Bill Gates and all these sheep, and no, it's them. It's them. They live close to you. You know some of them, and they're all over your town. It's those sheep that are allowing our world to do what it's doing right now, in my opinion. Because
it's your neighbors that call code enforcement because your light is like a little bit adjusted too high, or like the fence post is like leaning over.
You're calling legal gang members because of my light? Like, what are you doing?
You basically just pointed a gun at my head, like indirectly, but you called people that could ultimately call other people that would point a gun at my head. So yeah, and I agree, man. I think
man, you call the police if someone's shooting at you if you're not strapped. I get that. You'll have you got no other choice, or you got shot in the foot or stabbed in the foot or something, and you're bleeding everywhere. You got to go to a hospital. Other than that, don't fucking call the cops and don't go to a hospital.
If your neighbor shoots you, you turn the other cheek, right? And you let him shoot you on the other side.
That's what Jesus said. Repent. Yeah, no, good. No. Yeah, exactly. I mean, look.
What Jesus said.
Look, man. Again, I mean, like someone like I'll end with this because I know a lot of people that are Christian and stuff, and I respect them. I love them, and this is no jab at them. I'm not trying to take away what makes you and your heart pure and a loving person, because if that's what it is, I'm on your side. Just be a loving person and let's defeat this evil. If that's what it takes for you to go, okay, I'm gonna pick up this book and kill all these fucking pedos. Cool. When the pedos are gone, let's have a conversation. At that point, I'm not trying to stir anyone's pot. I'm entitled to my opinion on this shit, just like anyone that has that hotel book goes, this is real. It's your opinion. And I respect your opinion, and I also understand your opinion. I get why you feel this way. If you don't understand why I feel this way, I mean, I go. Basically, it's like we can't have that conversation at that point. Like, and I've even had a conversation with Bryce Mitchell. He's a hardcore Jesus-loving Christian. Nothing wrong with it. But I told him to his face, and when the first time we met, I told my opinion on this stuff, and he just looked at me like, I've never heard it like this. You know, just never heard it this way. And he go, I'm going to be comfortable with my decision and keeping my Jesus and keeping my love in my heart. Good. But now you know. Now you know where I'm coming from and how sometimes the raw truth can offend somebody. But if we're all in this together to have a better world, then let's stop with fairy tales. That's all. Doesn't matter.
Sometimes fairy tales are important.
They are. What it does the other day is it's the Trump effect. It's someone saving you, and the fuck they are. No.
So, yeah.
Nate, I'm just curious because you might know more about the Gideon Bible than me, but like, could you, like, let's say that you're atheist or you're just like, you're not Christian, you stay in a hotel.
Oh, no, dude.
You roll over and you read the Gideon Bible. Like, is that real Bible or is that like,
it's like it's an NIV. It's typically an NIV. I think the Gideons are just a group of Christian men that just thought that was their testimony. That was their like mission, was just to give everyone a Bible. And so there's nothing different about a Gideon's Bible. It's just a group of. It's like my one of my good friends is a Gideon brother, and he volunteers and gives them money and passes out Bibles and like. Those little tiny Bibles that always have, like, he used to give me handfuls to pass out. Same with Chick Tracts. When I was a kid, I had pockets full of Chick Tracts always because my pastor was stuffing my pockets full of Chick Tracts. Go give these out to people. Go tell everybody that Jesus loves them. So I getting that's my childhood, and then going to like straight up tent revivals and getting all wild.
I'll end with this, guys, because I got to roll. To go back to the old world for a second, it's crazy because if you study it and you go back and research, you see what is being explained is what some of these temples were doing of actually energy with the energy and pulling the energy out of the ether. For those that don't know what the ether is, you're not spinning on a ball, okay? The sky's above you. It's the highest form of electricity and energy, and they were pulling down energy into these buildings from those. I'm still learning words that starts with an S. The thing, a flagpole, not a flagpole. There's these things on top of these buildings, and it's pulling the ether in through their actual architecture. It's made this way to harvest the energy, and they would go inside and heal their bodies. They get something's wrong with them, they'd heal through the frequencies, through the vibration of our creator, of the creator, of God, whatever you want to call it. You can call it Jesus too if you like, that's fine. But it's still a creator, okay? The spirit of God. And it's pulling down the ether and it's channeling and it's healing people, right? Now that's true, which there's a lot of evidence of that and stories and old blueprints and photos and stuff of like these machines and what they were doing for the community and the world. And I compare that to what a church is now. And it's a reverse engineered effect, in my opinion. I think that they're pulling your energy collectively and they're doing something with it. I don't know what or how the grid works or how they bounce your energy and harvest for bad. But there's a lot of bad, as we all know, going on in churches and pedophilia and stealing of children. And a lot of that stuff has been going on forever. I mean, the rabbis are sucking baby dick every day. And everyone's like, oh, whatever. No, not whatever. That's bullshit. And that needs to stop. That's fucked up. But I think they're doing something in a weird way where everyone's like, blah, 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 whatever the book says to say. We don't know what those words mean. We don't know what those frequencies mean. We don't know how they're tuning their organs now that they reverse engineered them. Those used to be cleaning your organs. That's why it's called a fucking organ, because they used to clean your body out. They would tune it to help. Now they're tuning them to hurt, and they're reversing. In my opinion, more than my opinion, but they're reversing engineering your energy People always like, yeah, they harvest our energy. Oh yeah, the bad guys. Oh yeah, reptilians. Oh yeah, they're always and it's like, well, how? Well, I don't know. Well, I just told you. But not church. Yeah, church. Are you kidding me? Hundreds of people in there doing the same thing, giving their all to a guy that wants to fuck your kid. I don't like. It's all bad to me in a sense, but you should not have to go into any building, especially an old world. Why is there always old world? Why can't it be a rectangle church made from plaster? I'm sure those exist, but I guarantee it's a different feeling when you walk out that motherfucker. I guarantee you go to a brick and mortar church, modern day 1920 built church or 1950 built church, really built. Guarantee there's construction photos. You walk out of that building, you'll feel different. You're still giving energy, but you'll feel different. You'll probably feel a lot better. But when you get out of one of those old cathedrals and those churches, and like you said when we started the show, man, you walk into these buildings and there's a whole sense of different energy. Yeah, I think some of these buildings are still working in a sense. That's why we feel that, especially people like us. We're vibrational beings to begin with.
And honestly, like the grid system that these cities are built on, they are built in these geometrical patterns to harvest energy. Like
with underground tunnels everywhere,
cities, man. Yeah, I mean, like look at Washington D.C. and tell me that wasn't constructed in certain fucking ways, man. It's
no, I got photos of it underground. I mean, those pillars on the D.C. the building, they keep going down, guys. I mean, you think they stop there and then they'll just. There's a giant door down here, but we have to compress it with new short human stairs. All these old world buildings, not all, 90% of these old world buildings nowadays, because of the flood or whatever happened, they all have brand new modern day stairs going into a smaller door in a giant door frame. Off that, we've seen doors where you can see on the giant 40-foot door. The fuck would you design this and spend money on this during Civil War? During a depression, we're spending millions of dollars on all this shit built for 40-foot people when no 40-foot people existed, I thought, especially back then. So what's happening?
We built them for dinosaurs.
Lying to you. That's all. They're just lying. It's that simple. These buildings were possibly built by giants, but definitely for the 20-footers, the 15-footers. That's why everything, and we haven't talked to a museum. The guy that worked in the museum, head of security guy. You'll see it in the film. We just made him think, and then I'm zooming in on him as you could see him processing it. Yeah, he goes, wait a minute, yeah, is that why everything's so fucking big in here? Wait a minute, hold on. I saw something on TikTok. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm like, but listen, we got some TikToks. One thing we're trying to. Listen to what we're saying. And then he starts talking about their shit underground, that building is, and his dad worked there for 45 years. And you can hear the ocean underneath the basement and there's stuff crashing. I said, yeah, this building is underground. It's under Lake Michigan. This is under Lake Michigan. There's tunnels underneath it. And then he confirmed the tunnels. He knows about them. He goes, all these buildings, these older looking buildings outside in Chicago, they're all connected underground. There's something going on. And then he said his dad worked there for 40 years and told him a bunch of shit. And it's like, and this guy literally had no idea. And he's probably been security for years. He has no idea until that moment that something's going on. And you see him snap at that moment and go, it just all clicked. And that's the point. Now, is he a 401k guy? No, but he could be in terms of someone watching this stuff. Because if it unravels, self-truth is the best. But I'm sure he went home and looked some stuff up. It's just my opinion. I mean, he could have just went home and played 2K. I get it. But, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. I just hope, again, I'm just trying to inspire that person. No one's going to be able to make them wake up or keep continuing researching. But I think with the age of Aquarius and just with the shift of consciousness, period, and our creator knows what's coming. Our creator has designed this to happen this way. And I think this is the only time, in my opinion, since our human race has been on this earth, and for me, it hasn't been that long, but that's my opinion. But in our human race, this is the first time that the truth is in our fucking faces. And what are we going to do with it? What are we going to do about it? We all know we can't just move on from this, right? Like, like we all, humanity in the world, like we can't just continue MTV and continue the type of life we grew up with, like continue like the award shows coming up, we're gonna DVR it. All this stuff's over, guys. All this stuff is changing and ending. So hopefully I can help get people on board of the truth and helping our children and helping our future, our selfish future and the children's, right? So I'm sure eventually we'll get to that point, but I think that's why they're speeding up their 2030 to 2025, whatever they're doing. I'm not doing years.
They're always speeding it up, man. They're always
because they're failing. Because
Babylon is burning.
They're done, bro. Like, what do you mean? Like, what he done? I watch Eddie Bravo and Roseanne. It's so good because you see her waking up to Flat Earth, Roseanne Barr on the air. And especially when he brings up Moreland, because he gave me props on this. We just recorded his show a couple days ago. But he gave me props on the show because he's like, dude, Hibbeler always says, just talk about Moreland. I know it's speculation, but just calm them down with a Flat Earth. They're hiding land. Wait a minute. Hold on. Again, then people start remembering things about someone said something about that, right? And it's the point of you could see for me, man, it's nothing better than to see someone wake up, to see someone activate their soldier of God in them. And you see, when you see things like that, you can't, I mean, I guess you could fake that in a sense, but when you know it's real and authentic, it's worth waking up every day, because there's eventually going to be, like we talked about earlier, powerful people, assassins, connected people. That this is why I wish I knew Michael Jackson was still here. I think he's one of the only people of our past and our modern life that would do anything to help get this back together in terms of finances, power, connection, saving our children. That's just my opinion, of course. But there's my point of bringing up Mike is because there's not too many people with a big voice that give a fuck anymore.
Are we talking King of Pop, Mike, right now?
Of course. Yep.
Oh, yeah. What part of inviting kids over for sleepovers was part of like the plan with all that?
This is another conversation.
This guy definitely has HBO. But go ahead.
I was going to say this part of the
plan. What part of an HBO narrative do I disagree with? That's another show, man. How about asking which part of CNN, Fox, or HBO do you agree with, and then we can have that conversation.
I thought he like admitted that he had kids over for sleepovers and shit. I'm not implying anything illegal or inappropriate happened, but I thought like legitimately he built a theme park for children and then had children just like spend all their time with them there. No,
or that's another show, man. That's at least 2 hours.
Yeah, we'll have to do this one again because that's a fucking wild ride.
Should we just do a Michael? Should we just call like a Michael Jackson Flat Earth Tartaria show and just not necessarily.
I gotta go either way. But my point is that I've done this topic on big shows too. I'm not scared of this topic, dude. The truth wins. So I would always be down to talk. Again, I'm not like I told Eddie. Like he was like, come back on, let's do the more Michael stuff. All right, I will, but. It's one of the things where I don't want to be the Michael Jackson guy. I'm doing other things. I'm just saying in terms of these truthers that they still want to fall in line with like, yeah, but CNN in the 90s, they told the truth then on Michael, right? It's like, if you even knew anything about the trafficking gang and the people involved, especially in the 90s, of course they pinned it on him, man. But again, that's a whole... That does take time to explain, though, guys. I'm not going to sit here and act like give me 30 minutes and I'll blow your mind. I need at least an hour and a half of some facts, and you guys share the screen and pull it up for your audience because proof talks, man, and CNN walks, man. We just remember the smear campaign against him, and then have that feeling again of who's doing that.
Dude, Pepsi let his fucking head on fire. That was more than a smear campaign. Like they were
trying to kill him, man.
Mutilating him on a live stage. Yeah.
And trust me, would the rulers of the world want a man dead that fucks kids? No, they wanted to give him his own island. But when the rulers that run the world know that you're more powerful than them in every way, and you just found out about the kids and you're not about it, you're not for that, and now you're gonna make songs cryptically telling the world what you're doing and who we should stop caring about and who should we listen to, and A lot of these anti-government songs. That's the thing. And I'll end with this, just for your audience. Listen to his last few albums. No one even knows what they're called. See, once the molestation bullshit came out in CNN, I'll repeat it, on CNN when they broke the news to the world, and Michael Jackson's a molester today, and yeah, well, this was after he was already warned. He was warned multiple times by, for the sake of the argument, I'll call them rabbis. And they told him not to release this music because you can't do that, Mike. You got 3 billion people waiting for your next album. That's more than anything they could ever dream of hoping to have power over in their fucking lives. And one guy has it, and he's a black American. I know there's jokes coming. I get that. It's still a fact, though. They can't have that. And the amount of money, work, effort, energy that none of you have ever looked into your whole lives on him not only saving children, but doing it every day of his life. Not in the news. None of that's in the news. The millions of dollars he spends weekly on helping our children, helping save children, fighting trafficking. These things were not public, nor were his multiple hospital visits weekly all over the world to go and spread joy to kids dying. So that's the thing. The ignorance of Michael Jackson falls back into your programming. The programming of Michael Jackson, including stand-up comedy, movies, TV shows, since the 90s, has done what? Rip him into shreds. You got to wonder why. And you got to ask yourself, do you trust the people that were giving you this information this whole time? Do you think that there was an agenda there? Or do you think that the biggest smear campaign in our lifetime against one man, the biggest, people, Trump, yeah, Trump smear campaign, my ass. That's bullshit compared to Mike. You think that's, from what you know now in this world, you think that's not an agenda on purpose? There's a reason for it. It's called a fall guy. And when the fall guy's not in on the fall, he's got other plans. And again, his other plans we'll get into on the next show, because do I think he faked his death? I'm not going to be that naive and lose credibility on this show or any show. But I do have things that I can show you on the next show that'll blow your fucking mind.
Fuck yeah, man.
That's all I'll say about that.
Sean, give us your plugs, brother. Tell us, when is this movie coming out? Tell us everything. Let's fucking talk about it. HibbelerProductions.com.
Well, always, yeah, but I mean, in terms of anyone listening, OWOfilm.com, not the NWO. Fuck the NWO. OWOfilm.com. O World Order. So that again, I'd like to comfortably say 25 to 30% done with traveling for this one. I still have flights to go. And God, I don't know if it's just inflation's been crazy lately, but just a trip to Florida and back's like over $1,800. And, you know, in terms of the flight, the hotel, and the cheapest car rental that you could fucking find. So it just adds up, man. And it's like, for me, I kind of outdo myself before I even get the support, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go to these towns in this country and film this and get drones. And then I'm like, yeah, that's like $200K budget. Okay, what can I do? Because no one would ever do that. I'm the littlest independent guy ever for this type of thing. So, okay, let me just go to like 7 trips. I wanted like 20, man. But let me do 7 trips, maybe 8, cheapest of everything, and split that in half. Half for a fundraiser, half out of my pocket. That's as fair as I can do without having to shut down everything and get a job. So I said, okay, $15K for a budget. It's nearing 30 to 40% complete the fundraiser. But if someone wants to throw me $1, please do. If you throw me 10 or more, you get the film for free when it comes out. If you throw me 20 or more, you get my last 3 films in 4K for free too. So it's like, I'm not about the money. I wish, trust me, my life would be so much easier. Flights and hotels and rental cars and food were free. I mean, it really would. I mean, but until we get that in our life again, or until I could set that up for myself to have a garden and move one day and just figure things out for my own life, I need help. It's as simple as that. And it took me years to admit that. And I knew I couldn't do feature films. I couldn't travel without it. You can't, right? I mean, you can't. So anyone that wants to help, just go to owofilm.com, click the donate link, and help. I mean, I had to wait in between Michelle Gibson's trip in Arizona and now Dr. Narcolongo in Florida. I had to wait. And luckily I did Sam's show and the swarm came in and helped. And now I'm like, okay, I'm almost ready for Dr. Narcolongo's trip now. I thought that would be the last because of how it's just Florida's an expensive trip. I don't know why. It's just I'm up all night looking for how can I save money on this? Because I want to do, if I save money, then I can do another trip, and I want to do Europe, and that's fucking, don't even get me started on that. The price of everything, it's like, oh my god, I feel so. It's helpless sometimes. But then again, there's good moments like this where you do a show, and you're like, holy shit! In like 3 days, like they helped where I might be able to go to Florida in a few weeks.
Hell yeah!
I just need the footage. Like that's all I want. I want to go there, meet them, sit down with them for a day or two, walk around, look at some stuff, especially this architect. I can't say more than that. But you know, and I don't even say the city right now, just until I know I can. But again, that's another trip. So it's just this shit adds up, man. So the 15K is like just helping. It's not funding at all, but it's helping. It's helping me. We're just like, okay, some more comes in. I have a little bit to my name, barely now, because I didn't even say this. I've said I'll end with this 10 times, but my crypto, my wallet, and all that shit was 3 months ago. I want to say 2 to 3 months ago, maybe 4 months, give or take. That they took it all. I don't know what happened. I did a swap. I had to call something, and this all of a sudden, I guess I could say I already probably said about 10 grand. And I was saving these tokens to help with this, and that's just sucks. This is one of those things where I'm like, now I have to do a frontage. I was trying my hardest to save every dime I have. Like, can I just fly? Normal people, they fly. They got money. I'm gonna go on a trip. I can't. I go, okay. I'm gonna save. After Level with Me, I saved everything. I'm like, please. I didn't make that much. I go, okay. My audience, some of them rented it in 4K. They didn't want to wait till the free version. So I love you for that. You can just wait too. But if you help, great. Rent it, support. It's what we got to do for each other. So I said, let me hold on to as much as I can, because then I could just do another film and just fucking go, man. Just I don't gotta do shit. All right, next week I'm gonna go there, and then I'm gonna bring in and edit it, and then I'll wait a few weeks, and then I'll go do it again. And they took 10 G's, bro. And the same thing happened to Austin Wissett. Austin Wissett just a little bit less, but that's irrelevant. Like it was the same day, and others we heard. I don't know what happened in crypto that day, but my 10 G's are gone. So that was a huge, to say the least, that was a huge fuck in this whole trip and traveling and filming, and everything's been delayed. Luckily, Michelle Gibson was super patient. I got to her. Narcolongo was beyond patient, and thank God he is, because like every month I'm like, I need another month. I'm like, let's shoot for January now. He's like, oh man, and it's like, dude, I can't go anywhere until it's there. So now that it's almost to a point where I can do another trip, it's just gonna be the same thing. What can I do? Go on shows? I don't know. I hate doing this type of shit. Not podcasts of knowledge. I'm talking about like, hey, go help me and support. It's just so weird, man. But I need it because and it's coming. It's coming. I know it's coming. None's gonna stop the trip. Like God's going to allow the path of it being funded, and it's. When I look at it, it's like, why is it taking so long this time around? All these Flat Earth films were so quick. People support. They want me to go to Flat Earth Millionaire's house. They're like, yeah, he's going to be back in the film. Here's my donation. We love Flat Earth Millionaire. No, of course. But it's like, with this film, it's like, guys, this is the old world. Like, this is boots on the ground. This, like, do you want drones up? I want drones up on these buildings. I want to see what's going on. And everybody's like, yeah. But again, it's been picking up lately, so I appreciate Swarm for sure. I appreciate my audience. I appreciate yours. Anyone that helps. It's going to allow me to get the things that I need. Now, eventually, one day, maybe I'll ask for more. But hopefully I make a film where I don't have to ask for help ever again. And I'm just being raw and honest with you guys. I would love to drop a film. And my audience and yours now and many audiences know that 30 days later, it's free on YouTube and Rumble. So most people are like, well, I'm not fucking paying $5. Fuck that. That's fine. That's majority. I get that. I understand it. But it's that small percentage that goes, you know what, dude, throw them $5. Look at all his hard work all year. If they do that, if I could just increase that, I don't need millions of dollars. I don't need hundreds of thousands of dollars at all. But if I could just increase that small amount that will quickly just go support. then maybe the next film, I don't need anyone's help. I don't need these uncomfortable fundraisers. You get my point? Like, I wouldn't need to do that ever again. And I hope that God sets me up that way, because it's not in my nature to beg or ask. I'm a man. I'm going to figure it out. But it's either now it's like 9 to 5 or continue hoping, right? The audience comes through. It's a sketchy life to live. You know, it's weird. I'm getting used to it now, but it's still awkward, you know. And you know, if I had to do a 9 to 5, there's no way this film's getting done. It's all it does is take up my time. Research alone is 8 hours a day. I can't with something this sensitive topic, you don't want to fuck something. You don't want to fucking imagine me throwing a building in there because I don't have time to research it, and it actually was built in the 60s or something. You know what I mean? Done. That film's done. I can't be, you know, a lot of work goes into it, and unfortunately, I'm a one-man band, and that's another thing. One day in the future, I pray that I can get to a point where I can go, you know what? We're doing a chemtrail film. I got whistleblowers on my phone book here. Again, there's certain topics we could make a film out of, but if I had the funds myself, my own funds, right? Like I earned them on my funds, bro. Films are like films would be flying for me. Not only that, but just downloading effects and stuff and like all this stuff. I'm like, oh, it's $99. I'm like, nah, I can't right now. You know, it's like, I can't. You can't pull that trigger yet until that flight's done. Then it's like maybe I can, you know, splurge. But last but not least, man, thank you both for having me back. I really do want to come back and talk to Mike. Because the look in his eye about Mike is gonna get me on 10. So we gotta do another show, man. We have to.
Absolutely, brother. Sean, we appreciate you, dude. And I just want to tell you, and all my audience, all the Czars out there, please go and support Sean. What Sean's doing is it's changing lives, dude. And straight up, like, I would just say never feel guilty about asking for this shit, because you are fucking working. You're doing things that fucking people that the world needs. And what you're doing is like, so this isn't like, you're not fucking begging, you're not asking. This is people, hey, support Sean in doing this fucking work, because we know how important this is. And he's putting all of his time, effort, and his fucking spirit into this. So let's all go gather and support around Sean. Thank you, brother. Hey, Thomas, what are you doing tonight? What are you proming?
I'll beg this shit for money nonstop. In fact, the project I'm working on with Sam Tripoli right now it's just about to pass 15,000. We're hoping to get it to 30,000 or more by the end of like the next week. So if we do that, we can make it into an animation. And this has been going so well, I'll probably beg for money for every project going forward. So good. Every comic that I put out, it'll probably start, because the coolest part about doing these on like Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or any of these crowdfunded sites is that when you order a comic through these, it'll get signed. You get your name in the back of the book. You get like exclusive covers, things that you won't be able to get once it's out of that. So it's not just helping and showing support, but like you get like really cool exclusive stuff on top of that. So like I got no friend. Like please, I'm begging you for your money. Literally, go to chaostwins.com. You can donate as little as $1. You can get a signed copy from me and Sam for, I think there's some left for 40. But yeah, like please go and support and feed your money into the machine. we will use it to save the children.
So I guess we can close out on that promo again, and we will support Thomas and his endeavors, Thomas and Sam. So here is the promo for the Chaos Twins. And then Sean, thank you, brother. We appreciate you, man.
God bless, guys. Thank you.
Dive into a realm where comedy meets cosmic adventure. Chaos Twins, created by comedian Sam Tripoli and comic publisher Paranoid American, will sweep you off your feet. Join two girls with the astonishing ability to morph into animals, rally with their cryptid crew, and traverse diverse dimensions. But you don't have to take my word for it. Sign up now at chaostwins.com. In a place as curious as Crown City, adventure awaits at every turn. Meet Anna and Becca, two spirited souls navigating a world filled with wonders and weirdness. Alongside their trusted allies, Biggie, Mathilda, and the Chupacabros, they'll stand against aliens aliens, reptilians, and mysteries beyond imagination. Dive into their captivating tales and discover a world where anything is possible. For more information, visit chaostwins.com, samtripoli.com, and paranoidamerican.com.